EOS on the track. When you ask a woman, what kind of man would you like? The answer goes something like this. I want him to be financially independent, a good lover. I want him to be a potential good father. He must be my best friend. I want him to go to the gym and work out. It would be great if he had humor because I love to laugh. And then we need the same life goals, obviously. I need date nights once a week, flowers every Friday, and in general, I want him to treat me like a princess.
What do you want?
I don't know.
Tell me what the fuck you want.
I know what the girl them want. London to Taiwan.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
Finally face the truth about who you are, James. Why should I call you Ghost? Who the fuck is Ghost?
Yeah, boy.
I don't know what you heard about me. And quite frankly, I don't give two fucks. But whatever person is in your fucking ear, they got it wrong. I don't make threats. If I had any intention of killing you, in short, you would never see it coming. You would simply, I don't know, disappear like a ghost. Lucky for you, I ain't the nigga I used to be. Get the fuck out of my place of business.
Jay-Z tried to kill me. Cause my name whole weight, big pop on the street. Bank roll swollen, I can helicopter police. Power up your colon in the back of Papa Caprice. I'm a hog in the beast, when it's time to vlog, I release. Like a walking dog on a leash, a frog on a log at the beach. Pause when I jog to the east, picking up fog from Cheech. Blowing smoke with the priest, I sleep for all with the least. My nigga, you know that I'm awesome still. These other rappers pop pills like a moxicil. But I'm eating chicken fettuccine pasta meals. Cause everything I do huge like a roster kill. Ill. Trick I own Hotel Rwanda. And Sean Diddy Combs is my auntie Yolanda. I'm all about my combos and drama. Come out the llama and beat it. Hannah Palmer, Geronimo, Proud Obama. I am Adonis, Chandelier, me Walt Disney, Martin Louis, the Dream, Steve Jobs, Bobby and Whitney. Praise issue, I lie the king, how high is he? False literatures and history's dead pygmies. Truth is my mama and her mama had a baby. Now they in trouble cause somebody gotta pay me. Up to my chin and they rebel, that's why they calling me crazy. I got a friend who I love, I married her and that's my lady. Ma, don't be mad, try to feel me, I know your secrets. For me, I'ma laugh, do we laugh cause I can't believe this. Ain't nobody thinking about me, they been raping and pimping on my entire family. I'm about to set up as John F. Kennedy getting loose. Cause I see Tommy Chow, but we can't find sheets. Yes, I still hit the bone, though it's wrong on my feet. I get ill, yet I'm strong cause inside lies the beast. I ain't sorry, ain't got a peep, I know your neurology. Everybody proud of me, Satan can't find a way to swallow me. My demons follow me, Illuminati trying to bottle me. Stop trying to holler me and get the people who they wanna see. They calling me the new millennium, rock king. Times pop, better than Jigga. Word, my type of nigga. It's obviously safe to say I'm the pick of the litter. My abominable family try to make me a critter. Everybody wanna rape my nerves. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers, none of you make me nervous. If you hire me, I do my job and do it perfect. I ain't tripping on none of these bitches because I'm worth it. Yeah, trip. The helicopter come with security, holding choppers, land, hop off the plane, get inside the mouth of Chewbacca. When you speak up on my name, I just pray that you do it proper. Best lyricist in the game, probably right next to Biggie Papa. Look at you and look at me, little nigga. You what it do, I'm what it be, little nigga. Till my shoe from my knee, little nigga. I'll air out all your little ones I see, little nigga. Nah, I ain't fucking with you till I think you get the picture. Spending grands on bitches, sending million on switches. Ain't shit sweet. Everybody think you like it out the trenches. Assalamu alaikum, thank God for the fix. Plotting real big play, gotta watch for the snakes. Driving, waking up late, drip, sweat with my heart throbbing. New Batman, made back trip, spread mobbing. This young man, he play 10, probably end up fucking up Beyonce friends. Fuck them so good, they gon' have to make it a trend. Fucking on the golf course and fucking in the bands. Me, I go like me, highs grow. Ain't a nigga in the globe that can be my host. Get a nigga to the bone, make it be my role. Chris Rock, Gusto, bitch, see, bitch, fall. Sick of all the bullshit, put me on the pulpit. Get up on your ass, hit you hard like a mule kick. Peanut butter outside, inside, cool with. Way more talent than you niggas know what you do with. Gotta stop.
What up, though? What up, y'all? How y'all doing? What's poppin'? It's Saturday. Y'all know what time it is. Time to get Cerebro. Hope y'all doing good, man. Hope y'all had a good week and is enjoying your weekend. Y'all let me know if y'all hear me. Let me go ahead and get my sound check because it's me manning the boards today. We got no moderation in the building, just me. So that's what we doing. You guys gonna see me, working the boards, getting it all done. But shout out to the moderation gang, although not in the building today. We still appreciate y'all. So hopefully y'all can hear me. My sound is good. Let me go ahead and get myself plugged up and plugged in so we can move around over here on these YouTube streets. I am one half of He Said, She Said, Love and Abundance. I'm Mr.HeSaiD. Hopefully you guys can hear the sounds coming out the soundboard every which way. And hopefully you guys had a chance to see the thumbnail on the way in and check the title. I know what they want. I know what they want. Got a special guest in the building, my brother from another mother, Dr. Nakumbe is in the building. Let's bring him up. Hey, sir, how are you?
Fabulous. How about yourself? How are you doing?
As well. All is well. You sound great. You look great. You look like you smell great. So we're going to lean into it and go with that.
Makeup. Yeah, just makeup. But thank you. Thanks for allowing me to share in this space with you. And for those in the chat, greetings and peace to you, and thank you for allowing me to share in this space with you as well.
My pleasure, brother. Let's shout out the people that's in the chat. The all-stars, the heavy hitters are in the building today. I see Cuteness is in the building. What up, Cuteness? I see Almond Eyes is in the building. Hey, Almond Eyes. OG Patrice is here with us. Sarah is here. The Lionesses are checking in. Alexander X in the building. Paris Dunbar. Dr. Nakumbe is in the building. Red Lipstick Vibes, where the vibe is always positive, is in the building. What's poppin', sis? Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good week. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. And thank you, Sarah. She said that intro was fire. Thank you. I put that together. I've been working on this computer and getting a little more familiar, you know. So 2024 is looking to be interesting. Doc said everything sounds good. So we're going to go with that. But you guys seen the title card, and I'm glad I got you here, Doc, because we get a certain perspective. I know what they want. And I don't know if you've seen my trailer. I put up a trailer. I've been starting to put together some trailers and get some information going on, you know, what I'm going to be speaking about in the upcoming weeks and the upcoming Saturdays. And did you have a chance to see the trailer that I put together for this episode? I know what they want.
Absolutely, I did. Yes. Very well done. And the little snippets. So, yes. Very interesting. The young lady's perspective and then catching some of the ghost episodes. So, very well done. Yes.
The young lady is what sparked my attention. You know, she said all of the things that a man would have to be. I kind of allude to it a lot, that there's a lot of gray areas and sweet spots that we have to fall into. We have to be aggressive, but not too aggressive to scare her off. We have to be witty, but not too witty to seem like, you know, we're this super intellectual that think we're just above everybody else. We have to be charming, but not too charming. We don't want her to think we're just, you know, exuding this all over the place. And, you know, so there's a lot of gray areas and sweet spots we got to fall in. And like the young lady was alluding to in the trailer, you know, a good lover, a potentially good father, date nights every week, flowers every Friday. That's really hard to land in all of those sweet spots for a guy. And, you know, we jump to the end of the trailer where, you know, this is all in fun, of course, in conversation, but my estimation is they want ghosts, Doc. They want this, you know, like you alluded to earlier this week, protector and, you know, savior all in one. But it's really hard to be that, you know, sophisticated and rounded on both of those sides for the typical guy. What do you think about that?
I agree. And please forgive me, I can't remember if it was you or our Sean or both that talked about, you know, they want a Superman until they find out that you're Clark Kent.
Yeah, that was
right?
me, man. Shout out to me. That was me, man.
Right. Well, yeah, shout out to you. And I find that to be pretty much the same. You know, Clark Kent, some parts of it, you know, what's the term now is a simp. So they don't want you too soft, funny, but not too funny, charming, but not too charming, direct, but not too direct. You know, you're not controlling anything over here, but we want you to take control. So it's a very double entendre type move where you have to, one word or one characteristic can mean two different things. And if you don't know which one she's on, you know, you could be at fault for something you didn't even realize.
Shout out to Blaze pulling in. He said peace and abundance. He said, Doc, Marge, chat. Hope everyone is staying up and staying sharp. Thanks for tuning in, Blaze. We appreciate you. My brother Alexander X is here. Chef is here. Shout out to Chef Shino on the check-in. We appreciate you, brother. Much love to you. Hope you're doing well. I'll show some love to Chef in the chat. We appreciate you pulling up and pulling in, Chef. So today I am making my assumption and just having a little bit of fun with this conversation and subject. I know what they want. And I put together a couple of videos, cards, just to add to the salad that is Cerebro Saturday. So, you know, Love Yourself, Black Man was one. Bring Your Own Foundation was a recent conversation. And today we're going to continue that with I Know What They Want. I learned what they want because I've comprised it of the things that I see they're attracted to, in my opinion, and the things that they don't want. A lot of modern women and women in general voice the type of man they don't want emphatically, immediately. Even, you know, the woman that I have, you know, I don't want you to talk to me crazy. I don't want you running around and gallivanting with other women. I don't, you know, she had a list of things that she required in order for me to be a reflection of our relationship. And she definitely told me about the things that she didn't want. And I noticed that from a lot of women. They compile a list of the things that they don't want instead of concentrating on the green flags, the positive things, and the things that they do want, and then try to zero in on those. What do you think about that? And it's not just delegated to women, men do it as well. But today we're talking about ghosts, so I'm kind of concentrating on the ladies and their attractions and dislikes and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I have a unique way of thinking about it. I say the number one complaint that a person has, a woman has, talking to me, that's actually probably the behavior, her number one behavior. So, I can't stand someone. If you're gonna lie, probably her most biggest contribution she's gonna offer is that she lies. I don't want to cheat her. I don't want to cheat her. Possibly she goes outside the relationship. So usually we speak to the thing that we do, but it's a characteristic we don't really like, but we know we're guilty of, and then we don't want the other person to do it. And so I also find that what is normally green flags, well, psychology will say the red flags are actually the green flags for most people. So the red flags that we tell everyone, stay away from, don't, watch out, don't do it again, those are actually the green flags that people are magnetically or subconsciously attracted to. Subconsciously attracted to the red flags because it's what they know.
Okay, that makes sense. It makes sense. And I'm glad that you said that. Shout out to everybody pulling in. The Realist McCoy pulling in. Dragonfly Jones pulling in. What's popping, y'all? Hope y'all doing good. We having a conversation. I know what they want, fellas. Stick around for this conversation. I'm gonna drop the link in a little bit, but I know what they want. They want ghosts, y'all. And if you can't be ghosts, you should try to work on it, because that's what they want. They want this duality. They want you to be able to operate on both sides of the spectrum. And you know what the spectrum is, you're gonna have to determine, because the template we have is, you know, supreme drug lord and CEO business owner. So it's really the upper echelon is what they looking for. And I got some videos to kind of, you know, give you guys some of the information on how I comprised this opinion. But I was watching you, Coach, and I mean you, Doc, and Coach the other night. Had the opportunity to come up there with y'all. And Coach K, shout out to Coach K. She sent me the link to some information that you guys were sharing with your audience. So shout out to you. Shout out to Coach K. Shout out to Black Man Unscripted Network for the great information. And this I thought was very interesting. You guys were looking at the Americans overestimate the size of minority groups and underestimate the size of most majority groups. You want to speak on that?
Yeah, we both pulled up a study where she was looking at some of the things that we're saying. This number of people and these number of people are doing X, Y, and Z that are reported. But if you actually look at the stats, They're not as accurate as possible. And then the stats that I was pulling up was for the LGBTQ conversations. Like, wait. How many people are actually wanting to delete themselves? How many people are actually doing? There was at the end of not the end mid the pandemic, they were in schools or asking students, do you miss school? Do you miss being social? Yeah. How many? So now if you're in an auditorium of 250 students, 1,000 students, and you ask them, well, were you depressed by being alone? Yes. And then you throw into your mix of, well, 1,000 students of XY numbers said yes, that they were depressed. And we talked about because they didn't get to be who they were. And then you twist that. So we pulled the stats to say, no, the real question was, were you depressed and sad because you were separated from people? You threw it into your survey about, would you like to be someone else or transition to someone else? So the numbers, and that's what Coach K was also pulling up, that we were talking about, realistically, how many people are actually talking about they're not happy? How many people are talking about they want to be a 304? How many people are talking about these different subjects up there? And there's the government stats, and then there are community stats. Your community clinic and your social and your neighborhoods and their information compared to what government is funding and what government is sponsoring. So we wanted to show that the numbers aren't as accurate as what people are putting out there.
Indeed. And that was, great information and operative for me, because I look at the disproportion between, the true proportion and the estimated proportion amongst different categories in society, and what people think versus what's actually going on. And this is kind of why, I stand and wave my flag on it not depending, with you being a little more concrete and solidified in your stance, in your opinion, because all of this information is out here. And that's what really stuck out to me. This is all just research. You may have to compile from different sources to kind of get somewhere in the middle. But this, 20% gap in what's actually going on and what people think was really operative for me, because I tie it back into this conversation. If women are telling us what they don't want, I don't even know if you really know what you do want, or if I can believe that you don't want those things, because your perception could be skewed based on, just popular consensus and living in modern westernized society. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, you'll find, or I'm finding, if people are talking to couples, coaches, therapists, whomever, mentors such as you and the missus, we're finding that people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s are actually going through this like mass confusion where society is saying, well, a man shouldn't be, but all they've ever known is a man to be. So I'm finding more and more wives who are saying, whoa, don't talk to, who are you talking to? Don't think you're talking to me like that. And then a totally different week saying, yeah, I need you to man up. I need you to up your game. I need you to make some decisions, And so then the husband's like, huh? And so we were talking about, is it dementia? Is it early stages of this, early stages of that? But when we break it down, because those couples I've been talking to, they haven't been on social media, but they're adult kids and grandkids that are on social media hyping that up. And why do you let grandpa say to you? And why do you, and how much are they feeding into that? And so I just wanted to make point, like, even though they're not on social media, there's a theme in the last 10, 15 years that man should be in a different role. But because it's confusing, even to the people who want that, their internal battle is something doesn't feel right. That's not really what I want. So they're adopting ideas, falsehoods, fantasies, visions, things that they don't truly believe in, but they've drank from the Kool-Aid, so to speak. Or sounds so good that they believe it and they want to adopt it, but even they have a hard time adjusting.
Great point. Sarah checked in. She said, then come home and can't be emotional with their partner because apparently he must be hard at home too. That's a great point. Supreme team, like Kenneth Supreme, shout out to Southside Jamaica, Queens. Shout out to Mrs. She Said, that's her stomping ground. Shout out to 50, I think they called him Boo Boo, and all of the rest of the fellas from over there. So shout out to y'all. Lost in Translation is in the building. How you doing, sir? Blaze said, very true. Many women desire to have 6 foot 7 figures, super thug in a suit. You are not lying. We gonna talk about it, Blaze. We gonna talk about it. You guys seen the title card that I put up there last? It said, they don't want old ninjas. Y'all old ninjas, they don't want y'all. So I did a little bit of research, and I came across amazing content creator. They have a channel called This Might Be Risky. His name is Hamp. Shout out to Hamp, and shout out to all of the work that y'all doing over there. And he had a conversation with some younger ladies, and the question came up to, there's a saying that older men want to trade in disgruntled older women for younger women. Would they be able to do that? Was his, general question. And then they went ahead and continued the conversation. We're going to take a look at it, but this is what I got from it. Older fellas, they don't want y'all. So you guys take a look at it. You let me know what you think. Doc, thank you for being here with me. Shout out to Hamp. This link is in the description if you want to check this out. And I am going to go ahead and share this screen.
Damn. So let me ask y'all. There's a sentiment in these YouTube streets that says men that are like maybe my age, maybe a little older, we get more options as we go older because men build their value. Women are born with their value. So for instance, if you're a beautiful woman, a man will invite you on a yacht, right? It's unlikely that I'm going to be invited on a yacht until I get my own yacht, right? And then so what happens is you build your value as you grow. So the sentiment is that young men my age and maybe even older, 45, 50, they are willing and wanting to get women your age. Are you guys checking for 35 and ups?
Hell nah.
All right, let me get one answer. Hold on, yes. Let me get one answer at a time. So yes, said hell nah. Chloe, what you say?
Immediately no.
Jayla, what you say?
Fuck no. Now 35 and under.
Hold on, Jayla. No context yet. No context yet. Nyla, what you say?
Definitely not.
Ari?
Put them on the registry. No.
Put him in the fucking bedroom. Get out of here. Come on.
Yo!
Hey, what are you doing here? I thought I told you to go fuck your mother.
They don't want no older fellas, Doc. And, that was just their initial answers. He's going to go around the board and they're going to get a little more in depth. But, I can just take that bite off the apple and start to chewing. If they don't want older fellas. So that must mean they want younger fellas. But I don't know any younger fellas that are stable in their finances, ready to settle down in their mentality, mature in their actions and movements. It's not a lot of, they're far and few between. I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty sure there's some out there, but they're gonna be far and few between versus, young, virile, ready to exercise their options, may make bad decisions in regards to women, And if they gravitate to these men, they're going to have bad experiences, and then blame those bad experiences on men when you could have had, you know, a different view of what you're attracted to. Maybe could have changed the schematic. What do you think so far? What do you think so far, Doc?
Yeah, well, one, I think you're spot on. And I just saw a comment by Lost in Translation. I would say both of you are spot on. One of the, so the numbers, back to those numbers are that, you know, as many people who are complaining about it, the numbers don't match up. The men who are aging, so again, they're 30 and up, but especially when you start getting into your 40s, 50s, and 60s, they actually are looking for stability. You want a woman that you're familiar with. You know their moves, they know your moves. Is safe and secure. That's what people really want, safety and security. Now, I'm not putting anyone down, any man who wants a young woman, that's great. You know, we had the Hugh Hefners in the world. He was 80 and his women were 18. But if you break down the psychology of it, those who have high levels of inadequacy, doubt, self-doubt, control issues, so on and so on and so on, they perceive a younger person more controllable, or the perception is that they know less. You know, because I'm supposed to be older and wiser, you will be younger and not as wise. And there's a manipulation piece. There's a perception of age, like ageism. So I'm in this bracket, you're in this bracket. So, but reality is, this group of men really do want women who would offer security. Reverse, the younger women would not want older men, in the sense that there's a timeline to this. There was a time when younger women did not want older men. In fact, it was like, ugh, no, thank you. But with the idea, if you go back, let's go back 20 years. Some of the dancers, they, you know, like a strip club, they would love to have like a truck driver, because the truck driver's on the road. But when he swings through town, he'll stop by with a greeting card, good old-fashioned greeting card with $1,000 tucked in there, talking about, I miss you, want to spend the whole night there with her, go visit her, asking he go to the bathroom just so he can get into her place. But he's back on the road. Now, how that relates is because now in this current timeline, I do want to secure. So if that means with age, because you can get, you know, 20, 25-year-old who has some money through some streams similar to Ghost, but someone who's secure, blah, 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 older, but I really don't want him around. So they don't mind someone older for the benefits and for the security, but not for the look. It's not the same. You know, pushing someone in a wheelchair, he has a toupee on and stuff, and they're at the mall, and she's hot and all that. That's just not a good look for her. So they don't want that. But they want their security.
Indeed. Indeed. Thank you for that. Lost in Translation did chime in. He said, older men do not want the younger version of the older woman today. Neither one can detect true value. It's a great point. Alexander X chimed in. I smelled the echo chambering. Their answers were subjective too. He got money, which would have been a fair question. Laugh out loud. Which is going to dive into our conversation, Alexander. They don't know what they want, shaking my head, or more importantly, what they need. Come on, sis. Sis got it. I hear you. Alexander said, facts. Just add their names to the ever-growing list of the lost ones. Jesus Christ. They don't want us old heads. Shout out to the International Quiet Storm in the building. They do want us. They said, okay. They love the disconnect and chaos. You're not lying. You are not lying. They don't want y'all sassy men either. They don't want y'all either. Who do they want? I really think we chimed in on this list earlier this week, Doc. They don't want these. They don't want this. Cook, sassy. Tarjay, sassy. Oil, sassy. Homophobic, sassy. It really makes me wonder, who do they want? Pumpernickel. Who do they want? Pumpernickel wants attention. Who do they want? That's who they want. They want ghosts. They want ghosts. He's a fictional character, but they want him. Again, Doc, he's operating on both sides of the spectrum. He's in both worlds. He's a CEO, top-notch business owner, and he's also in them streets, which started me to thinking, is this what they
be multitasking? So why do y'all leave the drug dealer out? Why is the drug dealer in last place?
Oh, no, we don't want to go to jail, nothing like that, you know what I'm saying?
Let's see. I do the 9 to 5 first.
Okay.
Then the drug dealer, and then the scammer.
All right.
Same as her.
Why the 9 to 5 guy first?
That's what I'm used to, you know? I've never really been with any of the other two. So.
It's nice to have an honest job, you know?
Right. Why the drug dealer over the scammer?
I feel like I know more drug dealers, you know?
Shout out to them. Shout out to them. We start off light around here, and then we ease into it, kind of like Ike and Tina, you know?
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody pulling in. Sarah checked in. She said, I never gravitated to men my age or younger because they were way too immature for me. I met my hubby when I was 27. He was 39. I am now 47, and he is 59. One thing I know, he cooks, cleans, works. Shout out to y'all. And sometimes it's that, you know, consideration. And all women are not going to be the same. I'm just, you know, trying to spark a fire in a young lady that might not want to entertain an older gentleman, and not to say 15 and 20 years old. I'm not talking like that. I'm just saying somebody that is mature minded, on a path of, you know, foundation, hierarchy in regards to family, knowing what they want, a certain level of consciousness that if he's 3 years older, 5 years older, I don't see a problem with that. And I think a lot of people kind of don't get out their own way because of the age thing. I need somebody my age or a little bit younger, and sometimes it's not necessarily therapeutic. I am 3 years older than my missus, so that time, you know, is important, that I'm able to have a certain level of seasoning. That, you know, when I was 5, she was 2. I was in kindergarten going to school, and it seems like nothing, but when I was 16, she was 13. So that's somebody about to walk out of high school, about to be a senior, about to graduate, versus somebody just walking into the doors. It's, you know, it seems like it's nothing, but that certain maturity sometimes is needed in a relationship because it's a certain balance that it presents. But I want to keep going down the rabbit hole before I pick your brain, Doc.
It's ladies only question, and I'm asking them what type of guy you like: a 9 to 5, a scammer, or a drug dealer. Because, you know, some of these girls nowadays, they like that fast money, or they want a guy with a benefit. So we really ask them which one they like. Or the type of guys you prefer: scammer, drug dealer, or 9 to 5.
Drug dealer. I want him to move that weight. I'm your pusher man.
I'm trying to be on the YouTube. Respectfully, it is what it is.
Scammer, 9 to 5, drug dealer.
Wow, that was quick. Oh, you had this planned out. She had this planned out. She's the expert. That's her whole model right now.
9 to 5 is more reliable, but scamming niggas gonna get you what you want.
Do you got a scamming nigga right now?
No.
You don't got the 9 to 5 nigga?
I don't have anybody.
You don't got the drug dealer nigga?
I don't have nobody.
I have nobody.
Damn, she's lonely. Damn.
It is.
They better slide on her DMs or something. She's taking application for the winter.
I am.
Oh, say less.
I tell the world I prefer 9 to 5, but I really want to scam her in my heart. No funny shit. Because
who are you, bitch?
We didn't care shit.
They heard that in that video.
Whoa, nah. He said, "Who are you, bitch?" Is crazy. He's on bad. Hold on. This man, come to camera. Hold on. This man is on bad timing.
I just don't figure out who the fuck that bitch is. That's my friend over there.
Oh, you see, ladies, you gotta have a friend like this because he is backing you up.
I need a drug dealer and then a scammer, then fuck the 9 to 5. I want the scammer first, then the drug dealer, then the 9 to 5.
They like the fast money over here.
Because The fast money niggas, they got time. They can take you out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
But
Friday.
you just complained you
9
didn't
to
want
5, only take you out on the weekends. Take you out all the time. Part of that. Scammers and drug dealers.
In all honesty, 9 to 5's got it because I'm not holding nobody down in jail. So I'm gonna take a 9 to 5.
That's very true.
She's taking a 9 to 5 now. She changed. She thought about her answer now.
Drug dealers.
No. 9 to 5. 9 to 5. 9 to 5.
Drug dealers. 9 to 5.
Then scammers, then drug dealers.
Wow.
I mean, I'm used to drug dealers.
You said what?
I'm used to drug dealers.
I'm a drug dealer 9 to 5.
I like a scammer. Yeah. What's the other one?
Drug dealer 9 to 5.
Drug dealer 9 to 5?
Yeah.
I would say 9 to 5 because he working his ass off. You feel me? I prefer a nigga working his ass off more than just getting that shit easily. Like, fuck you talking about,
Drug
nigga.
dealer too. He work his ass off.
And a drug dealer, cause as soon as that motherfucker say hold tight, bitch, I'm gone.
Okay, bye.
Right. You gonna be out 24/7? Yeah, I'll be back. No.
Scammer, number 1.
Scam. Damn. Okay.
I'm gonna say 9 to 5, then drug dealer.
What you think, Doc?
Yeah, give me a second. I'm processing. I mean,
it was a lot. It was a lot. I must admit. Let's see what the comments say while you process that. He does involve himself in drama and chaos. The thing is, Ghost wanted to completely leave one world for another one, but he wasn't able to because of obvious reasons. So he tried to be present in both worlds, and we all know how that ended. We do.
yeah. That video that you just played. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You have a few more comments.
Yeah, Lost in Translation said that seasoning matters. I agree, sir. Most of these women will learn the hard way. I agree with that as well. Guys who listen to them are going to jail. Breathe, Doc. Take a breath. That was something to process. And again, this is, what added to this conversation is to see the mindset of the younger ladies that this mentality kind of perpetuates. And although, a considerable number of them admired a working man, the admiration just wasn't to my liking, so to speak. I think that, the working man has a certain dedication. I think that level of responsibility, of understanding that commitment, I think it's a great personality trait. And I think it, can manifest into your own business, matriculate into your own family, so on and so forth. But showing that dedication, showing that, commitment to a relationship, I think is important. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do what I consider like my Doctor Strange move. I'm gonna put together this magic potion. For those listening in the audience or the replay, please feel free to dedicate what I'm about to say to, if you want to do, to age, generation, whatever group, whatever you do as you may. But here's a few things that's involved in these responses. The actual idea of working that has changed over time. Like, there are more people saying, ugh, a job? I can't get up in the morning. It used to be a time where morning time was hard, but there are now people saying, I do not want to work. Like I said, you can attribute it to whatever age group you want. That group wants someone who has the money and someone who doesn't have the work ethic. So in other words, we can do fun things together. So technically, dealer also has work ethic because they get out there in snow, rain, depending with how they're running the operation. So they still are working. The scammer can do a scam and still be available, like make money while they're asleep, to wake up to the Cash App and Field or whatever. So that perspective of those who don't like to work would enjoy someone who's available to them that can help make money without having to work, for those who subscribe to that. There's another group within that group that wants someone who works because they don't want the consequences of the other things. So if it means it's 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, so he didn't ask like a 9 to 9 or 7 days a week, but a 9 to 5 with no consequences and we still get the bag, let's do it. And is legit, and is the value system, most likely the value system that these people grew up on, pending which one was answering. What were their standards in the house? What were their values that they grew up on? And what were their core beliefs? So if you grew up in a home where it was about you better get yours, or if it was about family, you'll get different answers. And then I'll land with this. The other unique thing about those who were answering, I wonder what their idea is of commitment to the person. Commitment. So a scammer or a drug dealer is a quick fix. Quick fix also provides temporary relief. Temporary relief. When we think of a 9 to 5, and I'm not saying they've got all this deep with it. This is my own getting deep with it. The 9 to 5, actually, you work on Monday, but you don't get paid until 2 weeks, or some people get paid weekly. But the idea of having a job and then work paid later versus the scammer may take a day or two, a trick or two to actually get paid, but the other two provide quick payment, quick relief, and with the short-term relationships, that's much better, faster, and easier. You know, OnlyFans, right? OnlyFans is a quick pay. I could spend a few hours when I want to, create my own shift, entertain as much as I want, and then boom, I made my money and I'm out. So jobs like that, which is, I say all jobs are really a scam. Let me back up. Most jobs are a scam, like a pyramid. Can you ever make more than your boss? And how come? And the hierarchy. So you're not at the same level. You're not at the same level with pay, position, blah blah blah. So somehow somebody's making the money. You know, does your job offer a bonus? You ever notice how this year we didn't get a bonus, or this year you got a small bonus, but the owners got the. So in some way, I would say any job can be a scam, but the ones where you have perceived more control over, that's the one that people really feel good about. And if it means that the oops is on the customer, then most people won't have the people answering those questions most likely wouldn't have a problem with that.
Indeed. Great point. Shout out to Arshawn pulling it in. Shout out to you and the whole crew over there, Critically Drinking crew. Shout out to Bree. Shout out to Yella. Shout out to Candid Ann. If you enjoying your week. Me and the doc are having a conversation today because I had a revelation. I know what they want. And I comprise that by basing it off what they don't. They don't want the older 30-year-old ninjas. They don't want sassy ninjas. And finally, they don't want 50-50. Forget all of that. So what gets me to thinking, Doc, is, you know, he can be old. Okay, so he's gonna be young. Okay. He's gonna be masculine. He's gonna be macho. He's gonna be machismo man. And he gonna pay for everything. It makes sense. They want $100,000. $100,000 is what they want. And I think back to your chart about perception and reality. And I see this. General 100,000 income statistics consider the following. Only 15.5% of Americans earn between $100,000 and $149,999,000 per year. Although this does make up the largest percentage of Americans who do make over 100,000, which is only 8.3%, earning between 150 and 199,999. And 10.3% earning over 200K. It was January 18th, 2023. Think back to Doc's chart. Go about 20% off of there, and there's reality. Okay? So I kept diving down my rabbit hole, and I found
it's ladies only question. And I'm asking them what type of guy you like. A 9 to
Now listen to the answers. I'm like, where do they get this from?
Would you date a bus driver? You. Would you date
If
a
he
bus
owns
driver?
the bus. If he owns
No.
it. If he owns the bus.
He gotta own the bus, Doc. But I mean, how else do you make $100,000 if you don't own the bus?
Does the guy gotta make a certain amount of money?
Yes.
How much?
I feel like at least 80 to 100K.
80 to 100. Did your child's father make that much?
No, he didn't.
So the guy that dates you has to make more than your child's father?
Yes. And the reason why I'm saying that is because then I was settling and now I'm not settling anymore.
What's your name, honey?
Tanya.
Tanya. Where are you calling me from?
Dallas.
Dallas? Get situated, boo. How old are you, honey?
31.
31? Mm-hmm. What do you do for a living?
I'm a janitor.
Yeah. Janitor? Okay. All right, Tanya, boo. What kind of man you looking for?
Someone with lots and lots of money.
Oh, yes, they have lots and lots of money?
Mm-hmm.
What's the least amount of money he can have, Tanya?
You have to at least make at least 6 figures, period.
Do you make 6 figures?
Nope.
Doc, not a lot of people make 6 figures, Doc.
Right. But that's where your scammer comes in, though. So Tommy, well, of course they all make money, but you take someone, Tommy's part owner, take someone in a lower position, but they have a position of power, significance, and one day they'll be in that spot. So let's say your first year in the NFL, but you didn't go in making millions, but you're on the team. Right. So the perception of you're going to make that money, I can work with, or the perception of some type of power equals the money as long as you were able to get what we want. So through scamming or whatever. So these numbers, though, are they true numbers as in I want him to make 100,000 and or I want to make sure we have a house. I want my own vehicle. He has to have his own vehicle, And Price is Right says, how much for all of this, how much do you think it should be within 100,000 over or under? He needs to have a lot. He needs to have a lot. I mean, lots and lots, 150,000, 200,000. So I think half of them really don't understand the number system. How much do they really need to make? Because 150,000 minus taxes or post taxes, 150,000 with a family and kids, or just between you two. So I think most of them are picturing the benefits of what they believe 150,000 would make. 3 times what I'm making, because you're only making 20, 30,000. So you need to make about 3 times that, about that much. Yeah.
Okay. Alexander X checked in. Notice how Tall Girl said she butted in and said she wants 9 to 5. She's not holding him down. Then drug dealer girl switched to 9 to 5, man. See how they know what's right. They just want to sound cool. That's a great point. And a lot of the answers are follow the leader, what she said. Yeah, I agree with her. And that's after you said something completely on the other side. So it's a great point. There are some brainless chicken heads. They say they want a drug dealer, but fail to understand everything that comes with being a drug dealer. You are not lying about that. Delayed gratification is a lost art in the days of short attention spans. God damn, lost translation. He is shooting from 3. Yeah, watch out. He firing. Damn, she 31. Oh, Blaze, stick around. They speak with such conviction. They do. They're passionate. Man, I just heard a woman on a different dating show say 200K and more, and having to limit it to 200 was diminishing her. Jesus. Doesn't surprise anyone anymore. They shouldn't be allowed to date until they produce the amount of gross income they ask for. Only nurses would still be on the show talking crazy. Come on, Sean. And what's funny, Doc, is when we first started to log on, we were having conversations, you know, similar to this, because we kind of been on a treadmill. And, you know, one of my feelings about a situation is, don't ask me for something that you don't have yourself. And that ranges from $5. You ask me for $5, show me $5 in your pocket, and I'll gladly give it to you. But if you don't, it might come with some questions, a little bit of interrogation. What's going on? What's popping? But that not only stands for money, that stands for integrity, loyalty, compassion, empathy, sympathy. If you don't have that, don't expect that from me. Don't expect maturity from me, and you don't have it. So, you know, the conversation went another way because, you know, one of our viewers only heard the money part of it. And it's like, well, what if they really need it and they could be in a bad spot? And it's like, that's not what I was speaking to, the money. It's about being able to possess, and how a person is more confident in pouring into you when they feel it's not effortless. They feel that you're invested a little bit yourself. What do you think about that, sir?
Yeah, you have to watch out for the flares. I call it the flares. You know, the conversation is this way, when people shoot off flares, some distractions and stuff. Do you have $5? No, but see, I can. The first word was no, but no, yabba, no. And whatever that flare is, the real answer is no. And then woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but are you able to even do what it takes to earn $5? And I don't mean some trickery. I mean, like, do you have a job? No. Do you have a? So they shoot the flares in the conversation to make it seem like it's about this issue, when that's not the issue. The point we were making is, you do not have the skill sets. You do not have the ability. You don't have the courage. Hell, if you're lazy, you wouldn't even have the oomph to go and try and do some of the things that I could teach you. So be careful with those flares that people throw out there. Pay attention, stay focused, and listen to their true abilities. Usually a female would then turn it sexual. You know why? I'll bleepity bleep you. You know, I could do that. I'll let you tap it. I'll let you hit. Excellent. But I can't take a single, you know, how do you take the venom out of the snake? You know, you put the tooth in the jar. I can't do that to a clit and take some of that and pay a bill with it. You understand what I'm saying? I can't pay a bill with it. I can't do it. I can't even get on the bus with it. The city bus transit. I can't. So back to the conversation, which is, what is your ability? What is your skill set? Not everyone may make $5 like I can, and I may not be able to do what they can. So how bring the conversation about collaboration, relationship collaboration. So we figure out what the $5 value is. And I hear the value, got it. And that's where I'm interested in the collaboration versus some BS flares and stuff, if that makes sense.
Indeed, it does. It makes perfect sense. Shout out to Quincy checking in. Quincy, I was looking for you to give you a wrench, man. I wanted to get you checked in over here, but I couldn't find you. So I'll do it again before the next stream. But I was definitely looking to give you your wrench for being over here, man. I appreciate you coming over here and popping in when you have the chance. And it's usually, you know, often and frequent. So shout out to you. Sarah checked in. She said, like I said, you should not be asking for an income or something from someone you can't provide yourself. Sarah, can you say that again for the people in the cheap seats?
What about money? Does he have to make a certain amount of money, Lala?
Okay. He has to make enough money for him and a little bit for me. That's it. So what?
So the little bit for you, what amount of that is taking? Like, what do you expect? Is that like the courting phases of dating you? You have to, okay.
Okay, in the dating phase, just let's go on dates. Let's get to know each other. Let's learn each other. But when we get serious and we become exclusive, what I mean by that is I have kind of taken this inventory of myself and my needs and desires, and I have put a number on typically a range of in the dating phase, like exclusive phase, how much money I'm not gonna say I require, but like what other men have that I've dated invested into me. And it's somewhere around $500. It's not even a lot of money. Somewhere around $500 a month, have that disposable enough income to give to me to do with whatever I want to do with. Maybe I'm doing something, I'm cooking you dinner.
He wants an allowance of $500 a week. But
month.
What? That?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I've actually experienced that. I met my last couple of people that I dated. They were actually one was long distance, see them, but like there's no physical contact. We just have conversation. But what they were saying is, you know, as my man, so the role, we're taking the role and we're assigning it a responsibility. So we're assigning the role of responsibility. So it doesn't matter if we live apart, far, whatever, it's the title. And my pushback is, well, I have a title at my job, but if I don't do the job, there's no payment if I don't do the job. I can have all the roles I want. But the idea, I grew up on the idea of I need to make enough for me and for my woman and her needs. I mean, even preemptive needs. But I'm traditional. So I'm old school, and I have a little bit of sprinkle of what they call simp these days, but like romantic, you know, kind of ideas in my mind. If my woman has her period every month, every 28 days, she has her menstrual. There's no magic kind of formula. Let's say her medical stuff is straight every 28 days. When we get to the 28th day and she's saying, ooh, and we're running to Super America or Holiday or whatever your gas station is, just to pick up a piece, an item or two, one or two pieces. See, I grew up with, no, we have the whole box for the month. We have an entire box previous to the month. So you can, if you need to use 2 at a time, 5 at a night, whatever you need to do, you have the full supply. That's not money though. It wouldn't be, well, I need $25, I need $30, I need to make sure I have $50 to make sure I have, no, the products. But then when you say that to people and they're like, no, that's too close to when I'm dealing with the person who is an addiction. And they don't want the bill paid, they don't want the clothing, they want the money so they could trick it off. So anyway, I just say that to say there's some old school traditions that certain men actually believed in having enough to take care of themselves, their woman, and their children, but it wasn't a dedicated amount. You could do it like insurance. I have $10,000 for my burial. I have $20,000 for the full da-da-da. You could do it that way. But the current conversations are about this perceived value that I bring. If you're going to be with me, well, do you make that amount? Well, no, but I'm dealing with inadequacy and I believe my value is worth. And if I have some coochie or whatever you offer, I believe the value is this number so I can do as I want and as I please because I am special, only to find out I'm not that special.
I like the way you put it. You put it in a very studious way. Lost in translation, right on time. He kind of translated it. He said, she's asking for 20 in front and 40 in the back.
Oh my God. Mama, oh my God, he beating the feathers off of her. He is beating, oh my, y'all need to stop.
They're not going to stop.
Mama.
Shout out to my guy Lost in Translation. Always coming. Right on time.
But Mr.HeSaiD, let me ask you this.
Sure.
If you're Tasha in Ghost, so your man's not home that often, but you live all the benefits, house, cash at your, just open your safe and boom. So you're taking care of the family and protecting your man's image and serving him from like a psychological point of view, some sex when there's available, protection. All you have to do is say a word or two, and we're like that. We're actually a team. Well, see, then that's the value. I mean, do I say a certain amount? But if I set an amount or not in those situations, I think it's fair then for that woman to say, I am deserving of. Now, if the relationship is, you shouldn't have to say it. You shouldn't have to say it. In my opinion, you don't have to say it. But if in those cases, I think if you look at the dynamics, how they're set up, then I think it's appropriate then to say, yeah, I contribute enough to the relationship where there is a give and take, if that makes sense.
Indeed. Makes a lot of sense. You see what Quincy said, the audacity. The audacity. $500 allowance to date? Yeah, to date. Like for that? Yeah. Is that prostitution? Wow. No comment.
But that number's not wrong. How much does it cost to get your nails done? People in the chat, how much does it cost to get a full, like if you really wanted, how much that cost? Almost $100. How much does it cost to get your hair done? But again, $500, I get it. It's look, the audacity. I totally agree. Who runs around with, we barely make $500 enough to pay the rent. But remember, I don't think everyone does the number per number. I think they do the number per what they perceive they're going to receive. Nails, and not everyone wants these things. I'm just naming some things. A massage, full body massage, $100, $200. Hell, a therapy session. If they go for that, right? Not the community therapy session. The average here in Minnesota is $150 to $300. The average, if you pay out of pocket, if you don't have insurance. So a therapy session, nails, hell, a date with the friends, out to eat, that's $100 to $150. So again, I don't think everyone does it by the number. Like I need 500 as much as they picture in their mind. I need X, Y, and Z. Should come out about 500. Not saying it's right. I'm just saying I don't think they really know about think of it as the number. Still, they have to earn this.
When are these women going to realize that a man making $100,000 a year doesn't watch Kendra G? Holy smokes. Blaze, don't do them like that. She's asking for $20 in the front and $40 in the back. I thought it was worth saying twice. I am starting to wonder, are sisters cost effective because seemingly they want to put men in the poorhouse? Is she talking about in a relationship or dating? Because this is a dating show. How are you asking for someone in a totally different circle than yourself and think he would even look your way? Please. And you quite guaranteed an attitude and poor behavior for $500. Well, Alex, I'm not going to buy that. I think all this is providence. These women want wow support. $500 allowance. She's got to cook, clean, and put out often. Laugh out loud with little to no attitude. We having kids? She is bugging with that allowance talk. She never said that she was willing to spend $500 on him. Good luck with that, fellas. Y'all see where this is going.
So Candy Miami 35, serial entrepreneur, 4 kids. You said 18, 14, 10, and 9?
Yes.
How many men?
1.
Have you ever been married?
Yes, I was married for 17 years. I was with him for 17 years. I apologize. I was with him for 17 years. We were legally married for 10.
What kind of man are you looking for?
I'm definitely looking for one that is self-motivated and ambitious. I definitely want one that actually knows what they're working towards every day. I get up every morning, 5 a.m. workout. I have these multiple businesses, and one thing I cannot stand is for a man to be in bed all day doing nothing.
Does he have to make a certain amount of money?
Yes. So I am I'm pretty well off. So I want someone that is able to either meet me halfway or be able to enjoy the finer things in life with me.
Is there a minimum number?
At least $250,000.
So he has to make at least $250,000.
Yes.
Is that what your ex-husband made?
No, my ex-husband did make 6 figures, but he wasn't at $250,000.
So normally I hear 100K. So 100K wouldn't be good enough for you?
No.
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 I thought it couldn't get worse, but it does. I wanted to bring this up, Doc. I was talking to you earlier this week about this topic, and you brung up an amazing point. They want a hero or a villain, a savior or an equal match. What say you about this statement?
Yeah.
You just heard the young lady say, I make money, so he's got to, equally come in and match that with $250K.
Yeah, but now let's put that in perspective.
Yeah.
There's the one that's talking cap. Where she get that number from? But there's also the one, and based on that video, where from her background, the visual background, so I don't know other than what I saw. There's another element to consider. You ever heard people living up to their paycheck? I mean, they say living paycheck to paycheck. But we got a raise, and now we're making 60,000. And for some reason now 60,000 doesn't seem enough. We now make 90,000. Woohoo! But for some reason, and if you look, we don't have a bunch of new things. It's like maybe we move to a rent higher or mortgage, maybe a different vehicle is about 100 to 200 higher in monthly dues, but like a bunch of stuff, no. So there are people who actually jump up to the 150, 200,000, 300,000 bracket, and they take on certain responsibilities. Maybe they have actually now have more insurance taken out. They actually have more X, Y, and Z taken out. Their tax bracket is totally different. So again, I'm not talking about for the ones talking cap. I'm talking about for some people, there's a reality that 250,000 still living paycheck to paycheck because more comes out in taxes, more has to come out for their savings plan or match whatever. So it still looks like they only live by 90, 60,000. So if she had this guy who made whatever amount and then he's gone, she doesn't want to go lower. It has to be matched and higher. And since that match probably looks like paycheck to paycheck, then her number sounds realistic for us. Like, what? But there are people with, if you take the perspective that I just said, that they actually believe, no, we have to be higher because guess what? We actually are living the amount of money that we're making, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. It makes sense, Doc. That's why I appreciate you coming through, man. You always, bring the conversation and give it a nice, well-rounded view, and your clinical expertise is always an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to you for pulling up. You mentioned Tasha. I appreciate that because it takes a certain type of woman, like you said, to be available at home, to be available for his extracurricular activity, to be privy to all of this. And I kind of think that that's where this kind of comes from. These young ladies are gearing themselves up to be very unique in 2024. And I don't know if they're, gearing themselves up to entertain this type of a man, to entertain this type of a lifestyle. But listening to the young ladies that, don't want the older men, it just doesn't sound like settling down, having a, outlook and a projection of family just doesn't seem like what they're in line with. And that's, with all due respect. So the question that formulated in my head is, if you are a woman like Monet, Rocky, or Tasha, those are the mothers of the power world, what kind of man would you get? If those are the type of women you are, you're gonna attract a certain type of man. I want you guys to take a look at this video and let me know what you think, Doc.
And the best mother award goes to, y'all not gonna agree with me, but I got Raquel. And I'm gonna say this because Mary J. Blige forced her kids to stay in the game and then get somebody to kill their father. Then you got Tasha. Helped her kid take out his father. Not only that, didn't want Ghost to do better. Wanted him to stay in the game. Emotionally just all over the place. Now Raquel, don't get me wrong, she was trying to get Kanan to take out Howard, but we all know what that reason was for. And not saying that it was valid, Raquel is solid. She's solid. She's solid, man. No matter what y'all say, Raquel is solid.
What do you think, Doc? Those were the mother of the power world. And the commonality, you know, is everybody wanted daddy to be taken out for whatever reason, for one reason or another. But what do you think about that video and about the mothers of the power world?
Yeah, you know, I'm blessed and cursed with that whole psychological perspective I have to analyze. So at the end of the day, all three want security. They have their man's back to a point. When you start ignoring, though, you know, ignoring, not being available, again, how I was raised, my whole belief in how I partner with someone, how I do a relationship, truthfulness, don't lie to me, just be honest with me, betrayal. And once you know betrayal and you feel it and you receive it, you have no problem giving it back. And to the point where we get so blinded with pain, hurt, rage, whatever, we end up messing up a whole bunch of stuff. But if I'm only following his lead, he's become reckless. I'm now being reckless. He's become arrogant and whatever, and over conceited and overconfident. Okay. So if you think about those women, the ones who have their guys back, the ones who felt like they lost the connection with the man, but then put that connection to the kid, like totally to the bodyguard, the driver, the kid. So in the end, I say, if whatever men here in the chat, whatever men you pick, if any of us men become overconfident, lackadaisical, goofy, stupid, dumb, ignorant, or not really planning for the future, you know, what if we just make and we pause? Then you'll get the result of all three of these women. If you get someone who's only in it for the game and you're trying to make her a housewife, you know, if you get someone who wants to be a housewife and willing to ride with you to get the bag until we get to a certain point, but you don't know when to stop, all of them lead to these complications that all three of these women had. And I agree with the video that the one mom, Raquel, it makes sense. Tasha, I think that was unfortunate, you know, that whole son thing, but I think there's some other players in it. When you think about 50 and then all the lies that the kid received and trying to figure out like who's telling the truth and why it was an emotional thing. And then that other piece of when does the son pass the father, you know, as far as the gangs and all that and drug world. So anyway, my point is, pending the influences in your life, pending your values and all that business, you're going to get any of those three women. But ladies or gentlemen, if these ladies, any of the three, receive those characteristics I talk about, you will lose your lady. You will lose your relationship and your family.
Well said, Doc. Thank you for chiming in on that. Sean checked in. Yeah, Sarah said she's in a different tax bracket. Gross is not net, so don't get it twisted. Sean said she planted a gun on her son and put him in the system. Yeah, she did. That was crazy. In the real world, all three mothers are trash. Wouldn't disagree with that. Who's that back there? Who are you?
Athletes, like my ex-husband's 6'4".
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 5'11". I'm pretty tall, so I like them tall as well.
I do get okay. So let's go because you know the 6 feet guy. Do we gotta make a certain amount of money?
Yes. Yes, he does. Yeah, absolutely, Kendra. My standards are very, very high when it comes to that. He needs to be making at least $500,000.
$500K.
Yep.
Now, let me just, okay, so he has to be 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
He has to make $500K.
At least, yes.
And you're the only woman.
I'm the only woman, yes.
He's faithful.
Yes.
Bria.
She don't want Ghost. She don't want Ghost. Because he even had Angela. But the numbers go up, up, up. How much money do they think is out here, Doc?
Tired of it. I'm really tired of whenever I have to have a direct moment with a woman, oh, Kendra, you're being insensitive. You're making people feel low. Don't watch my show. If that's how you feel, do not watch it. Because when I have a man up here, there's nothing but women. Actually, let me talk about this. I have a guy on my Facebook page right now who's in a jacuzzi. And there are so many women in the comments saying, he's gay, he's this, he's a sissy, he's giving me feminine vibes. You women don't have any problems expressing yourself when it's something negative to a male. But let a woman come up here and we have to have a real talk moment. Ooh, child, some women are mad at me because I said that women keep focusing on tall, dark, and handsome with a big penis and 6 figures, and they're passing up the good guy, the nice guy that wants to take you out. Why should we have to settle, Kendra? We should have somebody on our level. Well, let me share with you guys some data. Information that I can confirm from hosting a dating show for the last 3 years. Okay, so every night I might get 100 single women who are looking for a relationship. Most of these women want committed relationships. Out of those 100 women, I may get 10 men. So let's just start right there. If I'm tired of it, I'm really tired of whenever I have to have a direct moment with a woman, oh, Kendra, you're being insensitive. You're making people feel low. Don't watch my show.
You know what this guy's me to thinking? Before you go, Doc, I'm gonna let you cook.
I have to be honest. The age that works for you. When you feel
this is so vague. Give me a range. Give me a range, man.
Okay, well, let me say this. This is why I say this. I have college friends. Because, Kevin, I want to answer the question.
This is why I'm going to stop you right here, man. I'm going to stop you right here. And I'm going to stop you right here. This is why young women are stop coming to you, ladies. That's the woman who called my show last night asking, who are you to be giving all this advice? And then this 46-year-old woman. Young women are stop listening to y'all because you won't stop. There's a reason there are 32,000 people watching my show, and a lot of them are women, because you're not telling them the truth. You won't be direct with them. You won't just tell them, look, if you want to have your career, it's going to cost you. You won't tell them that if you want to get married and have kids, you need to do it before a certain age to have a better shot. You know better, but you won't tell them.
No. Let me say this. I was engaged when I was in my 20s to my college sweetheart.
I ain't asking about you.
Kevin, let me just give you, because I'm going to give you the answer. And I made a choice not to get married, right? And I don't have kids to this day. So I could say I have regrets because I could be married and have
What
children.
age?
That was like 25.
What age would you tell the women? I ain't asking about you. And
I'm trying to answer it, but you won't let me answer it.
No, I just need you to give me the age. I don't need the background. Give me the age. They're between the ages of 21 and 50. What age, if you want to get married and have a family, what age should they start prioritizing?
You allow me to answer, Kevin.
I'm allow you to give me an age. I'm going to end this conversation.
I know a girl that had a baby at
I'm going to allow you to give me an age range.
Kevin, right. Oh my God. It was nice talking to you. Yep.
This is why they're not listening to you anymore. This is why. This is a woman talking about our running relationship channel, and I asked a simple question. At what age would you tell women to start prioritizing? They don't want to tell you.
Tired of it. I'm really tired whenever I have to have a direct moment with a woman, oh, Kendra, you're being insensitive. You're making people feel low. Don't watch.
What you think, Doc? I'll let you start, and I'll finish up.
Did you hear those flares? Do you see what I mean by the flares? What age? What number? All right. The start of the video. If you would play it again, please. The start of that, the video you just showed. Would you play the start of that again? I'm gonna wave my hand.
I'm really tired of whenever I have to have a direct moment with a woman, oh, Kendra, you're being insensitive. You're making people feel low. Don't watch my show. If that's how you feel, do not watch it. Because when I have a man up here, there's nothing but women. Actually, let me talk about this. I have a guy on my Facebook page right now who's in a jacuzzi. And there are so many women in the comments saying, he's gay, he's this, he's a sissy, he's giving me feminine vibes. You women don't have any problems expressing yourself when it's something negative to a male. But let a woman come up here and we have to have a real talk moment. All of a sudden, I don't like this show because I feel low. You don't like this show because your ass don't want to take direct criticism. And you know what? That's why your ass is going to be watching me as long as I do the show. And you ain't going to get a man because you're not strong enough to woman up and maybe realize there's some shit you got to get together. Okay? So I'm really done with the sensitive women that watch the show that are always complaining when I got to give a woman real talk. And I do it in the most sensitive way as possible. If you guys ever notice, it's exhausting. It really is. So I don't want you to watch my show no more. If you feel as though I'm making someone feel low, this show ain't for you. Go do something else with your Saturday night, with your Friday night, with your life. Because I'm over it. Especially.
All right.
Whoa.
So, and I was going to write it down. I didn't do it fast enough. So there are 8 things. So first of all, I agree with his bogus, I agree with everything, those points. I want to offer a reason to why that's happening.
Okay.
Is this a good time? Is it a good spot to do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I couldn't keep up, but in the beginning of the video, the one said, why should I have to, so put that in there in the thing. Why should I have to? Mm-hmm. I'm tired. Mm-hmm. You are making a projection, but you are making me feel low. Mm-hmm. And there were 8 of them that she said within that minute. And they all match where that person is rooted in. So when you hear me talk, I got to get my thing. If you would please play it just one more time. I want to capture each one of these.
You are fine.
I'm really tired of whenever I have to have a direct moment with a woman. Oh, Kendra, you're being insensitive. You're making people feel low. Don't watch my show. If that's how you feel, do not watch it. Because when I have a man up here, there's nothing but women. Actually, let me talk about this. I have a guy on my Facebook page right now who's in a jacuzzi. And there are so many women in the comments saying, he's gay, he's this, he's a sissy, he's giving me feminine vibes. You women don't have any problems expressing yourself when it's something negative to a male. But let a woman come up here and we have to have a real talk moment. All of a sudden, I don't like this show because I feel low. You don't like this show because your ass don't want to take direct criticism. And you know what? That's why your ass is going to be watching me as long as I do the show. And you ain't going to get a man because you're not strong enough to woman up and maybe realize there's some shit you got to get together. Okay? So I'm really done with the sensitive women that watch the show that are always complaining when I got to give a woman real talk. And I do it in the most sensitive way as possible. If you guys ever notice, it's exhausting. It really is. So I don't want you to watch my show no more. If you feel as though I'm making someone feel low.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
No problem, sir.
So, I'm going to just name a couple of perspectives since I don't have a female up here to do it with, but let's just pick.
Drop the link. If anybody would like to come up, they can. If any young ladies would like to come up and add a perspective, they can.
Yes.
Dr.
If someone will please come up, we'll just do a quick role play. It doesn't have to be your story, but I'm going to just give some background as to why we're running into these women who are speaking the way they're speaking. The majority of them are. But while we're waiting, so what I highlighted was I don't like to receive direct criticism. You're making me feel low. I'm really not strong enough. I need to woman up. I need to get it together. I'm being too sensitive and I can't handle real talk. That's a lot of eyes. On top of what looks like one time or looks like a video, a one-time video or debate with Mr. Samuels, rest in peace. What looks like a one-time, two-time conversation is actually 10 years of being told, I'm so fine, I'm so beautiful, I'm so sexy that I should have. Years of men putting on a whole roll of $1 bills, but they had a couple 20s and 50s on the outside, and they make it look like they got a whole lot of money, flashing it to me, making me believe, leading me to believe I'm worthy. But yet, no one is taking into account the times that I've been handled a certain way, disrespected. Everything is objectifying me for my body. I'm giving. If I have parents who didn't pay attention to me, I'm taking care of my siblings. I'm taking care of my parents in some form or fashion. Now, again, I'm not talking about every woman, but I bet my Bears tickets, the ones who are presenting what we're I heard in the first 30 seconds, there was the other video where she said, the woman who was up there said, yeah, but why do I always have to? Bam, right there was the answer. Why do I always have to? So her mentality is, you owe me. She's owed. She's starting out the gate with someone owes me. To be with me, you must. It's non-negotiable. And then what's the number? $500,000. God damn. Yep, $500,000. Now that is ridiculous, but I'm talking about the root reason to where it comes from. But if you add all this stuff on top of a life, and I'm not talking about everyone's trauma and abuse, because remember, it doesn't have to be a bad thing to feel trauma. You can have had siblings, brothers, and you're the only sister. And so you're used to being the provider, the caretaker of multiple men. So not men as in your boyfriends, but you're providing for a brother, you're providing for a father, you're providing for a best friend who's a male. I finally get my own king, and there's a perception of belief in our faulty thinking these days, and our alignment has been thrown off. So for those who have the faulty thinking, the delusional thinking, the unfair thinking, they believe, oh no, I'm not your brother, I'm not your cousin, I'm not your dad. Well, I've been doing but you just met. So you've been doing for them, so they start out the gate with an expectation that I owe them. Vice versa. No father, no man figure, no male figures. So guess what? I was robbed, cheated, never had. And if you're going to be with me, you must. Damn. But I'm not responsible for, you must. So again, this is not to excuse the behavior. I just wanted to give a couple of insights to why some of this happens. And on the video, they look good and dressed and all that, but that's just the makeup on the outside. If you hear in the first sentence, I'm tired, I'm old, why do I always have to? That's the telltale sign right there that they're starting out the gate with a you owe me mentality, and then they throw some magic number on you. I'll land.
That was dope, Doc, and a great segue to some information that I'm about to give. That was dope. Y'all show some love to the chat. Y'all feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, share. That helps the channel. Get this Cash App. We're gonna put the information up. But Doc is cooking over here. Appreciate you, Doc. And like I said, I'm glad you said what you just said, because it's a great segue for this right here.
If one more man tells me at the end of a date that I have taught him so much, I'm going to lose my mind. Women are not your teachers. Women are not your teachers. Women are not here to make you better men. Women are not your teachers.
Modern women hate it when men like them, apparently, I guess. It's never clear what they want to be liked for, what they want to offer. It's always like, you're so attractive. I'm not your sex object. You're such a good listener. I'm not your therapist. You taught me so much. I'm not your teacher. Women are not your teachers. I really appreciate your help around the house. I'm not your personal chef. I'm not your maid. What are you? What do you want to be? What do you want to be valued for? Is it your job? What do you want men to say on dates? Like, it's so cool that you're a product manager? Do you want to be appreciated for how much money you make, but also men should earn so much more that they're not impressed, but also men should earn the same, and then you want us to support you after earning the same amount, which is also unattractive to you? What do you want to be liked for? What do you want us to say is good about you? Do you want every date to be a man just silently pouring money and time and attention down your throat while you just do you? Like this? Do you want this to be our relationship with you? Being mad that men value you for knowing things is unhinged. I thought you wanted to know things. I thought that's why you were all in college. This is a mind map that I'm working on. It starts down here with what you want, and then it goes up to your mind and what you think and what you believe, and then there's how you show up in the world and the things that you do, and then the people in your environment react to you, and that's what your life is made of, and then you get feedback. What do you want that feedback to be? Because apparently it cannot be your body, it cannot be your emotional support, it cannot be how smart you are, it can't be cooking and cleaning. What do you got? What else you got? Because it seems like you want to just receive things forever, and then in return, we get to watch you receive them. We put things on the table, and then you just are the table, and then transaction complete. Now, I don't know if you know this, because you said women are not your teachers, like all of them. Some women like to be teachers. I've known women who have taught me things, and then I said, thank you, that was really cool, and then they smiled and they were happy. You could try that. Let us know when you figure it out.
B9 is in the building, my brother. B Nizzle, what's good? Salute to the God. Good to see you, brother. Glad to have you up here, man. How you doing? What you hear so far? And please chime in anywhere you feel.
I just came. I just got off of work. I haven't heard anything. I just wanted to come up and let you all know that I still love you very much. You know, I've been watching the shows, seeing all the good work you and the missus been doing. And, you know, just wanted to come up and just give you some of that energy, my brother. And let you know that,
My brother.
Y'all are definitely doing God's work, man. Like real shit. Like, there's no doubt about it. You're dedicated to it. And ain't a damn thing changed. I hear and see all you fucking haters out there. Y'all know who to come see. I ain't gone nowhere. Anybody got anything to say about Mr. or Mrs.? He said or she said, you come see me. Don't waste their time. They doing the work that the people need. You want to bullshit, you come see me. I'm that nigga.
My brother.
You leave the good folks alone that's doing the good work.
My brother.
If you ain't adding nothing to the table, shut the fuck up. You on that bullshit, you know where I'm at.
B9 said that.
That's all really I had to say, man. Like I said, I love you. I love everything that y'all doing. Don't you stop a damn thing. And you know how it goes. The more they hate, the more you doing the right thing. The devil only steps up his game when you about to break through the goodness. and greatness. When you on that bullshit, he can sit back and relax. But when you doing something for real, he like, oh, y'all ain't bullshit, so I can't bullshit. You playing chess with forces greater than you. And you winning. Keep winning, my brother.
Appreciate you, B9. Appreciate you, my brother. Y'all heard that. That was B9. Master teacher in the building. So we having a conversation. B9, I had a revelation, man. I know what they want, and I think it's ghosts. I think it's ghosts from power. I think the ladies want this CEO, but still in the streets, able to lay somebody down if they disrespects a young lady's honor. I think they want the upper echelon of man. They don't want the blue collar, the man that may be a manager aspiring to one day own the company. He has to own the company flat out from the first day we meet.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if
a bus
he owns
driver?
the bus? If he owns
No.
it. If he owns the
And you see the clip that I just played, Doc, with, you know, the young man pointing out that young lady said that women are not our teachers, but there are some women who taught me things and I've said thank you, and they were happy about that. So I do understand what she's saying, that I guess there's not a lesson in everything that happens, but for some people, they do try to kind of grab a lesson, try to grab a nugget out of all situations. But what do you think about that video that women are not our teachers, and then his rebuttal?
Yeah, that's my jam there. That type of stuff. He was breaking it down. So don't put me in that role. I don't want that type of responsibility. So remember, the image of what a man is versus how I actually act on it. The image versus the act, or what I was raised and taught what a man should be compared to boom. So I'm not responsible for you. I'm not your teacher. In some ways, that's very empowering. Like, did I teach you, baby? Cool. In other ways, it's like, ooh, you're that fragile. You're that weak. You are a soft man that I had to be the one. And it's very confusing because I want you to share your thoughts. I want you to share your emotions. You never talk to me. You never tell me what you're thinking. You're not honest with me. You're not telling me the truth. You're not telling me a lot of not. And then when they do, I don't know, can you go see a therapist about that? Or maybe you should talk to your boy about that. Or I'm not sure why you're bringing that to me. So it's very confusing, again, for the young man in that position. And I'm going to go back to Ghost, where he knew what would protect or keep his woman safe from not knowing, and what he believed was his duty to keep sacred. So there's the sacred information that I'm not going to share with you. There's the power role where you're not privy to that information. But then there's that piece that says, I don't want to dump that on you. I don't want to put that responsibility on your shoulders. So even though I can share that with you, I choose not to, because I don't think you should have to be in that role of caretaker.
Okay. B9, you wanna chime in on that, or just the sentiment of the topic today, that women want ghosts. They want this man that's able to be, again, operate in this duality, operate on both sides of these very intense worlds, CEO, upper echelon businessman, and in the street, drug lord, so to speak. What do you think about that? B9 will let us know when he comes back. So far, Doc, you shooting from three. You hitting spot on. I appreciate all the information. Let's go ahead and bring B9 back. B9, did you hear my question about women wanting ghosts, or did you want to chime in on something that the doc was talking about?
I want to chime in on that.
Okay. So let me go ahead and keep on going. I got 666 up here because, like Kendra was alluding to, a lot of you ladies, you want a big penis, you want $100,000, maybe 250, sometimes maybe even 500, and 6 feet tall. When you ladies put them heels on, you start to get up there. So is this unrealistic to think that women generally would like to have 666, Doc, or do you think this is one of those things where it really depends on a different woman may be able to deal with 3 inches, 4 inches? It may be the motion in the ocean or something like that, I think they say. But what do you think about this 666 consensus, sir?
Yeah, what you have to consider, and I don't know, I don't have the exact stats, but I think I'm correct. The people with the smallest penises have the largest population out there. I don't know if you, those countries, they actually have a law that says you can only have 2 kids. So some of the people with the smallest penises have the most kids in the world. Anyway, that's just a side note. Here's what's at the root of the 666. What does height give you? What is the perception of height? A big ninja. What's the perception of that? What does he offer?
He's able to see over everything. He has a certain vantage point.
He has insight, and he offers protection. He can shield you. I look up to him. Up to him. What does 6 figures? The perception of 6 figures is we can have what we want and have what we need when we need it and not have to rely on because we actually have the resources. So 6 figures equal resources, and resources equals safety and security. 6 feet, the perception is I look up to you, you have oversight, you protect me, the common denominator, security, safety. Above 6 inches or a 6-pack, I've heard them both. 6-pack represents strength, or above 6 inches. There's 2 versions I've heard of this. So there are some people who want to just be dominated in the bedroom. They need a challenge. They need a challenge. They need a man who can deliver, who can give it to them. Everyone, and I don't mean like you always have to bang it like there's a moving train, you got to catch it. I mean like really give me the love and the security. But that also is a common denominator. What's the common denominator? The common denominator is still security, safety, comfort, securing me. And then the 6-pack, again, it represents image, power, and all these things. Common denominator with all of those 6s: security, safety, and I get to be in that comfort without really having to do the work. See, you provide those things. And even if you didn't work a job or whatever, I mean, the gym and nutrition to maintain the health in the 6-pack. But if you start with those things, it's like a ready-made home, a ready-made boom. You have all the house and the furniture. You have all the bells and whistles in the vehicle. You have a ready-made man with the 3 6s, and it's all a perception. Now, here's the deal. How in the world does the 5'3" person make it work? How in the world does a 5'5" person make it work? How in the world does a 5'8", 5'9", blah, blah, blah? How do they make it work? Because the women who also deal with reality and find still their security and their safety within what that man has to offer, they make it work. The fantasy or the belief, the perception, which is a belief or a vision, that it comes in this, and please understand, or please be willing to include, where did that perception come from? As a kid, who's taller than you?
My dad, my mom, just about everybody else.
They tower over you as a kid. So already at an early age, guess what's locked in my subconscious mind? The power. There's these 6 feet right there. If I'm a 5-year-old, what gets locked in my brain is the perception of your tone, your behavior, and your height. That's already locked in at 5, 6, 7 years old. It has nothing to do with the modern day. I better have a tall man. It's already built in. Now, how I actually execute that or stay committed to it, some people do it by age. I can't have no person shorter than me. And the man will say, I can't have a woman taller than me because that represents I'm soft, I'm weak, right? It's a power dynamic. So the power dynamic is already incorporated in the subconscious mind at 5, 6, 7 years old. Boom, money, security. You better turn them lights off. This Con Ed ain't gonna be on forever. You need to, but yet we've never had the lights off. You better eat all that. It's gonna be one day that there's no food on the table. Yet there's never really been a day with no food on the table, minus those who've actually had that. But I'm talking about the ones who make the threats, the parents who make the threats or the warnings, but they always found a way to make it work. They always dug deep to make it work. And the kids don't always see the finer behind the scenes to make it work. When I found out as an adult that my mom was arrested 19 times, I never knew it as a kid what she was doing for those 19 times that made sure we still had a roof over our head, even if they were abandoned buildings, but we got to be there. So you get my point. We don't see behind the scenes. So now this woman wants a man. I don't want to know what's behind the scenes. I just need to know that you can deliver. And since my own mama left me and my own papa left me or my own whatever, and I have betrayal, I don't even know how long you're going to stay around. So sometimes I need extra bag in case you leave, it'll hold me over. Extra bag in case you leave, it will hold me over. So landing this plane, the 666 idea or the mentality behind it is, I believe, height, even if you follow a higher power, is still to the above. So this whole perception of above is power, strength, security. The idea of resources, power, safety, security, and the power in being loved aggressively or loved assertively or give it to me, you have to be able to bring the thunder. Like that's not just a fuck me thing. It's you have to know how to work my body, incorporate your body into my body. Or if you go with 6-pack, that represents strength, power, safety, security.
That was dope, Doc. That was dope. Appreciate you. Cause you know me, I would have, I just would have made it real, juvenile.
Oh my God, Mama! Oh my God, he beating the feathers off of her.
Off the whole feathers. All right, B9, what you got, man? What you doing over there, brother? How you doing, man? You driving safe, man?
Yes, sir. I'm pulled over on the side, but yeah, everything Doc said is absolutely accurate. But I'm gonna always take a little bit of a different perspective. What does it matter? If you get all of the 6s, what is the 6 getting? Is he getting 6-pack feminine abs? Is he getting an hourglass shape? Is he getting thunder thighs and fat old ass with a little tiny waist and all the things that he wants? I mean, because all we talking about is Black Barbie and Black Ken. The movie just came out. And now all these black women want to go find their Ken doll and live this fantasy. But the funny part about it is, like Doc said, the majority of these people are below that height. So you fucking somebody. So you might want someone who's 6'9", but you fucking someone 5'7". And so ain't nobody 6'9" coming along, sweetheart. And you met me, Mr.HeSaiD. I'm not ashamed to say I fit all of those criteria. So what? Ain't nobody treating me no different. Nobody's. I'm not walking on rose beds and rose petals. Women ain't opening the door for me. Ain't no woman offering to take me to lunch or to dinner just because I'm a certain height or this. So what are we really talking about? After you get this height, you're going to want that man to treat you the same way the 5'7", 5'8" guy was going to treat you. Take you out to a 500 dinner first date. Take your friends out. Protect you from strangers when you can't respect nobody and keep your mouth shut and have any decorum. That 6'9" or 6'5" or 6 whatever guy with the 6 abs or the 6 foot, he doesn't get treated any different. He just meets your criteria. But he gets the same fucking treatment. Why you playing your video game system? Why you want to hang out with your friends? Why you want to do... What is different? Other than the woman's looking up while she's cursing at you, instead of even looking at eye level at you while she's cursing at you. So where's this special land where all of these 6 foot guys and 6 abs and 6 figure salaries, where's this land where they actually get treated differently? You have no problem making the differential between certain type of men, but they don't get any different type of treatment. They still ain't shit. They still love their mama more than they love me. They still love their kids more than they love me. So, I mean, it's the same old shit. So what is the end game for women who get this 6'6" guy? Where is the treatment? Where is the woman that's hopping on 1 foot, barking like a dog?
And did you say a stomach like a baked potato and butt cheeks with like cottage cheese?
I heard a little small waist. I know I heard that part.
Okay.
Sarah is in the building, my sister.
Hey y'all.
Hey sis, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
All is well. All is well. It's so good to have you up here. We just wanted to
see you in person.
Beautiful young lady's perspective about the conversation. What do you think about what we've been talking about so far, Sarah? Your sister's coming to say hello to you, of course. And Ghost. Do you like Ghost, Sarah, or is he not your cup of tea? What do you think about what we've been saying so far?
Ghost? I don't even watch that show.
Let's go.
Sorry.
Let's go.
My bad. I guess I'm not in the loop.
So what do you think about the sentiment that, you know, the ladies want this man that can kind of operate on both sides of the spectrum? They want, you know, a CEO, a boss like Rick Ross, a big boss. And they want, you know, somebody that can also be in them streets. If you say something sideways, I'm coming after you. I'm coming to get you. I'm on the next thing smoking. So watch your mouth, fam. What do you think? What do you think about that, Sarah?
I mean, they want both sides of the coin. Like, you want someone who is kind and considerate and empathetic, and you want someone to be gentle, but at the same time, you want someone to be the protector and fight for your honor and those kind of things. Like, you know, these girls are asking for like too much, like, you know,
doing too much. Asking for so much. What made me think of it, Sarah, was, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys seen the trailer because, you know, you guys are just amazing and always come over to the page to see what I got going on.
When you ask a woman, what kind of man would you like? The answer goes something like this. I want him to be financially independent, a good lover. I want him to be a potential good father. He must be my
financially independent, good lover, good father, date nights every week, flowers on Friday. Wow.
Delusional.
And again, what stood out to me is potentially good father. As long as he got that money right and he could lay that pipe, good father could be potential. I don't even need that to be concrete. Wait, what? I want the good father to be concrete. The rest of the stuff
Yeah.
we could build on. And that's what started me to thinking, why is it that we can't build with each other anymore? I don't start
Right.
out making $100,000 at 25. It takes me till about 35, 40, and you're not going to be with me all of that time? How does that work? The young girl said they don't want the old men. So who builds with me, Doc? Who builds with me, B9? So that when I do cross that threshold to making this money, I feel like this woman been shooting with me when I was practicing in the gym. So, we're going to ride out together. Is that, thinking of the past, or is that just old school thinking? What do you guys think about that? B9, let's start with you. You cooking on mute.
It's definitely a thing of the past, but it doesn't have to be a thing of the past but the numbers are definitely going to dwindle because the government system has worked. When I first came around, I let you all know that feminism is the sneakiest form of racism ever created. And it works from the inside out. It's literally pillow talk. So you're sleeping with the enemy. And now we as men over the last few years have finally realized that we have to shut that shit down. And now we're all reacting. No one is being proactive. Everyone is being reactionary. And so that's the rabbit hole that we're going down now, is we're all counterpunchers. Nobody's reffing the fight. Nobody's, it's a free for all, and especially in the Black community. And the winner is the dollar sign. The winner is the government that is getting to tax you more. The winner is the government that gets to imprison Black males at the rate. The laws are going back to the 90s. The laws are going to start changing back to the 80s, and when laws were stringent. All of this freedom, we are going to pay the price for our ignorance and for our lack of working together and coming together. And the last thing that I want to say on that is it's an old post, but y'all remember the post from the sheriff in Louisiana when he literally got upset that he had to release Black prisoners that had served their time. He wanted to keep those, I quote, "I wish we could keep these good niggers because they do all the work that no one else wants to do, and they do it for cheap. It's a damn shame I got to release them." That is the plan that is in place. And we are doing our part, following the script line for line like it's a fucking Tyler Perry movie. And we are following right down the line what they want us to do. They want us to fight with each other. They want us to not like each other because they saw what we could do when they had to erase Jim Crow, when they had to erase segregation. If that same nuclear family from the 50s and the 60s existed today, we would be on top, and they know it. And they have done everything to stop it. And we have done everything like the good fucking lapdogs that we are to assist Master in his mission, even if it's biting our own nose off to spite our face.
E9, ladies and gentlemen. My brother. I want to take a sidebar. Just break the monotony a little bit. We got Sarah up here. Sarah, welcome. Love to have you. But when the ladies come up on Cerebro Saturday, there is one question that I have for you all, especially my lionesses. Sarah is a lioness, so shout out to Sarah. But Sarah, there is a daddy hubby conversation that we have to ask you about. If your husband and your dad were having a conversation, and your husband turned to you and he said, "Sarah, go wait in the car." And your dad said, "Baby girl, you ain't got to wait in no car. Sit right down right here while we finish this conversation." Which
I
one are you listening to?
the husband.
Whoa, that was
Definitely.
fast.
Yep. Yep.
Shout out to Sal.
Yep.
And do you want to give a little bit of a background, nothing too detailed, but a little bit of a background on why you
Because
chose him?
I believe he would know what's best. Like when you're in situations where you have to make a choice or give guidance, he's always given great guidance. So I would just follow that and just go to the car
We appreciate you. We
because I know
appreciate
he
your
has it
honesty,
under
and we
control.
appreciate absolutely
Yep.
appreciate. Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank you so much. All right. Back to our regularly scheduled program. We are talking about I Know What They Want. Doc, you had a particular scenario you wanted a young lady for, and Sarah has come to join us. We got Dr.
Yes.
Nakumbe in the building. We're talking about ghosts today, ghosts from power. I just wanted to have a little fun with the conversation. I think the ladies want this, tough guy, but at the same time, business savvy, able to operate in these worlds, able to interchange and be versatile. And I don't, particularly fall in line with the gangster, shoot them up, delete everybody. But I do fall in line with the being able to interchange, being able to operate in different types of rooms amongst different type of people. I'm all for that. So, Doc, what do you think so far about what we've been saying, and anything else that you want to add in so far?
Absolutely. And again, thank you, Sarah, for coming up. Again, it's an honor to share in the same space with you, live or tele-live or whatever you call it. So good to, and
Thank
B9 as
you.
well. It's my first time sharing the space with him as well.
I'm a little nervous, but thank you.
Oh, yeah. So I do have a question for you, but just before I go there, I want to answer the last question. But I'll do a 2-for-1. The last question, and I'll ask you a question if you don't mind. Here's a scenario that I wanted to make a point that, yes, a lot of this stuff that we're talking about is a small window of people that are actually having these conversations under that kind of cap talking crazy. And then there's another group of people having these same conversations, but it's from a different perspective. If I may ask just 2 questions here. Your earliest memory, and nothing too deep, just a casual memory, however far back you can go, 3, 4, 5 years old, of characteristics of your father. Something that really sticks out that you remember, a certain characteristic of your father, as far back as you can remember.
And that would be for me.
Both of you.
I couldn't answer it. I don't have any memories of my father. He never, spent any time with me. By the time I came along, he was incarcerated, and I believe he passed away in prison, but I never had the pleasure of meeting him. Not even one day, Doc.
Okay, got it. And Sarah?
So I was with my dad until I was about 7. And I just remember like playing basketball with him. I remember riding a bike with him, and I would sit on like the middle seat, and he would just take me, riding around. So I do remember like good memories of like him being around and him being a good positive role model. But like I said, I only saw him until I was 7. So he really didn't
Okay.
have a big impact on my life.
Okay. Thank you. If I may ask, and I'll reverse it, I'll ask you first, Sarah. So you're married. What would you say in the last month, in the last 1 month? Because over years people adjust and they change, but over the last month, was one of the greatest characteristics of your husband that you could speak to?
Oh my God, he is such a hard worker. Like he gets up every morning, and I see how tired he is, and he still gets up. He goes to work. He um, deals with the bullshit every day, with these white people up here. And so
Yeah, I know
you
what
know.
Sarah speaks.
Yeah. And dealing with the discrimination and those kind of things. And then he's an excellent cook. Like he can cook his ass off. I always
Okay.
told him if I was to leave you, I would miss the cooking the most. So we would joke about things like that. And you know, he's just an overall good human. Like he would give the shirt off at his back. He's always there for people. Like kids love him. Like they gravitate to him, and he tells it like it is. So
Okay.
he's just,
I'm just curious.
yeah.
Did your dad play sports? You said back to your father. You said you played sports together. Did he play sports? Was he a coach?
Not that I know of. It was just we went to the park and we would play basketball.
Okay. And then what did
Like
he?
there was, huh?
Do you know what he did for work?
From what I remember, he used to be a garbage man, and then I believe he went to Lake Placid because that's when my mom left my dad, and I believe he was cooking then. And then years later, I found out he was doing like labor work
Okay. Well,
and
before the
building.
labor work, he was a what?
He used to, I think, cook
Oh, okay.
in Lake Placid, and then he was a garbage man before that when I
Okay.
was younger. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll come right back to you in a second. And Mr. HeSaiD, of the misses, you have your misses in the last 1 month. What would you say of all the relationship dynamics and characteristics that you two have together? What's your number one preferred characteristic of a wife for you?
I would say anticipation, being a person that can anticipate, whether it's, you know, what I need for the moment in regards to partnership or anticipation of what the family may need in order to, you know, curate the home and just make us run as a well-oiled machine, so to speak. So I believe, you know, my wife is a helpmate. So I was taught that the best characteristic a helper can have is anticipate. Notice what's going on, be aware of what's going on around, and then be able to contribute without being asked, without having to instruct and delegate, but, you know, just being conscious and aware. So I would say, I would say that anticipation.
Okay. Okay. Thank you both. And I'll sum it all up and tie it into our conversation. So ghost, or because you know when you show that clip where he's in the mirror, looking in the mirror, and it's like women want these type of men. And my analogy of, you know, I say, yes, I agree with everything that's being presented, videos and the conversation. And then thank you for allowing me the space to then offer a perspective on where it comes from. So using both of your answers, this is just another perspective of where it comes from. But because you two either have common sense or you've done the work to recognize what's really available to you and what's not. So Sarah, and this is not meant for any like deep dive or anything, just something to consider using your analogy, your answer. The earliest memory of this man, so non-romantic, but a man in your life, took you to sporting events, spent time with you for the short amount of time he was around. Now, I'm not trying to make this work. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you mentioned in that story that he happened to be a garbage man. And when you talked about your husband, not garbage, but he deals with garbage. He deals with the BS. Again, I'm not trying to make it work, but just a hell of a coincidence that your father dealt with BS and your husband deals with BS. And I asked you a couple of times,
Yep, there's the link.
Before laborer, he was a what? And you said cook.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a hell of a coincidence that your husband,
God.
And in fact, if he left you today, woo-wee, you would miss, you understand what I'm saying? The ingredients would be different, right?
Yeah.
So now again, I'm not trying to force it to work, but if you take this particular analogy, or if you take this method, And you think about these women who could possibly be asked, who not possibly, but who are asking for the above average. I don't think
Yeah.
Sarah could do anything less than what she saw, received, dealt with from her father. And considering he was only around for a minimum, for a certain amount of time,
I
I would
should
add,
probably clarify that
Yeah.
I did see him again when I
Okay.
was 25. I moved up here
Okay.
when I was 25. That was in 2002. And then he passed away in 2012. So I
Okay.
did have a few years with him,
Yeah.
but not very much. You know, like I
Not
did kind of
consistently
feel
straight
robbed,
through.
but and even though he was there, he wasn't really there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Okay. So hard worker is someone probably who offers the verbiage and the actions behind it. So the verbiage and the actions. So when I say the red flags are usually more attractive than the green flags, a red flag from my father, using just this analogy, this story, I can't say he was truly dependable. And so that red flag for me now is I need someone who I know is dependable, loyal, but at the same time, if you're not there, as long as I see you have the qualities, you have the characteristic to do it. So if one of your girlfriends like, oh girl, I don't know, he does what and he won't ever be, but I'm hearing red flag for you, green flag for me, because he has the characteristics, the know-how, the ability, the willingness, and woo, can he could put together a meal. All right.
Because I see when I look at someone, I see the potential, and I know, you know, some people like depend on the potential, but I also see in them determination. The eyes is what really gets me because I can feel like I can see someone's soul through their eyes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Seen, heard, valued. There's the $500,000. Seen, valued, heard, acknowledged, loved, and cared for. That translates the $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000. She doesn't need to voice that. She receives it through that value. I'll land with Mr. Thank you so much, Sarah. Mr.
You are
HeSaiD.
very welcome. It's a pleasure.
And I hope it made sense. I mean, I hope you could catch that. It sounds like you were able to catch that with me, how that gap, that hell of a coincidence. But
yeah, I pay attention to patterns. I notice a lot of patterns in my family, not just by generational curses, but by the birthdays. Like all of our birthdays, most of our birthdays have twos. Yep.
Okay.
It's kind of weird.
Mr. HeSaiD, yours will be much quicker. The story of your wife, well, I want someone who is able to anticipate. And not today, but I've heard you on a few other shows where you say about your father, you know, because when I'm like, well, maybe he, and I respect you, Doc, but none of that really means shit to me. He should have known. There's no excuses for him because he should have known. He should have anticipated. He should have known before he had a kid. He should have known these things. There's no excuses. You have to know. You have to be responsible previous to, excuse me, hell of a coincidence. What's the number one thing about your wife? The partnership, the anticipation. And I would say we haven't talked about these words, but when I hear you talk about you've been together for over a couple of decades, you guys sound like a fossil. You've been together for a couple of decades. Loyalty, 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 a commitment to the commitment. Not even me, hell, a commitment to the commitment. And there's no excuses. Once you sign that dotted line, I'm holding you to it. I know there's mistakes, I know there's whatever, but if you give the voice, if you give a commitment, I expect you to follow through, and I really can't take any excuses. Either you're going to be in or out. There is no middle ground. There's no, well, it depends. You know, someone earlier failed to do their job, and there's no depends. And so if you look at the gap in between, and put it to our video conversation today. This is why some of the women out there, remember, not the ones who are talking cap and crazy, delusional and visionary, the ones who are actually like, yeah, this is what I need, because it comes from a rooted thing in their subconscious mind. I'll land there. Thank you both for allowing me to share in that space with you to have that example. And I hope it made sense for both of you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, that was dope.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, B9, you over there, man. You were sitting very patient, man. You got anything about what you heard so far?
Hey, man, as usual, Doc is on point, man. I'm just watching him perform surgery.
Right.
And I'm just over here sitting, listening and learning as usual, man. So, you know.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Doc is amazing. Doc is amazing. Let's have a little bit of fun. We got Sarah up here. We got through all of the information. So now, Doc, we're gonna have a little fun with them, Doc. Let's go ahead.
Take your kids to church or take them to a drag show if you have.
Let's do it. Take your kids to church or take them to a drag show if you had a choice. I'm gonna give you guys a second to think about it.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Take your kids to church or take them to a drag show if you have to choose.
Drag show. I go for the drag show.
Drag show?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Drag show.
How come?
I don't like church. I believe in myself.
What about you? How come?
I don't believe in church.
You don't believe in church? You don't believe in God?
No.
Wow.
We going to church.
Wow. But remember, Doc, I said bring your own foundation a couple weeks ago, and I was alluding to how we don't subscribe to the foundation of Christianity, of the Bible. I thought it was pretty cut and dry. But when people don't align with the higher power, or they don't align with the book, then that's where, you know, I get really confused of, we want women to follow us. We want to lead. But what do we ascribe to? What is our foundation? And I know it doesn't have to be, you know, God, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, all of those things. I just want to understand that us as men have a foundation that we ascribe to. We have a certain hierarchy, a regiment, whatever you want to call it, but we fall in line somewhere. And then that's where, you know, it makes sense for our women to get in line, because it's logical. But when men say, you know, I don't believe in God, I don't go to no church, there's nothing really concrete that I put my belief in. How do we lead the children and the families to a, you know, a more positive direction, a different direction, if we really don't have a foundation? You guys take a look.
Drag show?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Drag show.
How come?
I don't like church. I believe in myself.
What about you? How come?
I don't believe in church.
You don't believe in church? You don't believe in God?
No.
Yeah, I don't believe in God. Also, I don't believe in dogma.
So do you think it's worse for a child to believe in God than to go to a drag show?
I think we would explain to them what those drag queens are, you know, not and they are what they are, you know.
One question: do you believe?
Yeah,
Yeah?
obviously, yeah.
And what kind of God you believe in?
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
My savior, yeah.
All right.
Do you think a drag show could damage a kid at all?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah?
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course, it can. Of course.
The drag show could damage a kid.
Why not?
Yeah, if you don't handle it the right way, it could damage it.
What's the right way versus the wrong way?
The right way is that you explain what it's all about.
What is it about?
Yeah, what is it about? I'm not an expert on drag queens.
That's what we're dealing with. And I respect them as men. I respect them as fathers. But, you know, I'll take them to a drag show. So, you know, what's a drag show? Well, I really don't know. But it'll be fine as long as you can explain to them right from wrong. Okay, so what is right and what is wrong? Well, you know, I don't know. Fellas, what kind of families are we leading?
Well, first of all, you have to recognize that guy didn't have on any shoes. Just want to point that out. I just want to point that out. The one who didn't know
Wait a
didn't have on
minute.
any shoes.
Stop. No shoes?
And not that it matters, but I just wanted to point that out, that we are talking about someone who and talk circles, because the same way you can explain a drag, as long as you explain to the kids, then why could you not take them to the institution or the church or whatever and explain to them what your family values are, your beliefs are. We are here at this place, this is what they believe in, or here's how we can adopt. So both places you can explain, you have the wisdom, the knowledge, and the know-how to explain, but you choose, and then have to think. The head scratcher for me is, what's the long-term value? So the long-term value at the church, even if I don't believe in that particular institution, but the long-term value is a savior, a believer, being a believer, living by pillars, commandments, whatever you want to call it, versus the value in be who you want, I guess, or the value in clothing and makeup and dancing. To me, what's the value in it?
Right. Well, I get it. Sarah, what did you think of that video? It was interesting, right?
It's like, you don't even know, but you'll bring them there, but you won't bring them to church, where most of us got our foundations from. But, I understand people have different religions, but, come on, common sense.
Indeed.
I
thought it was unique. B9, what did you think, sir? What did you think? Drag show, church, those fellas. Wow.
I have to believe that they was just trolling. I have to believe that they kind of felt that the lady was coming from some type of Christian organization, and that they wanted to get a rise out of the woman by all picking, what they know that she stood for. But just piggybacking on what Dr. Nikumbe just said, the meat is the religion versus the drag queen stuff. But the peripheral, even if you're not in religion, being around people that are dressed up in suits and dresses. If you want your child to be in corporate America, or you want your child to be this pillar of success that I know all mothers and fathers want for their children, are you going to learn more in which environment? The peripheral of the drag queen thing. You get to be around alcohol, cigarettes, hookah, chicks with dicks. That's the peripheral that you want your child to be around. And how do you explain that? How do you explain that the correct way? What is the correct way to explain that to a child? I'm almost 50 years old. You can't explain that shit to me. So how you gonna explain it to a child? I don't understand it. I don't get what's going on. And I guarantee those gentlemen don't understand what's going on. They said it themselves. They're not drag queen officials or experts or whatever. So they're taking children into a realm where they can't even guide their children with any type of success or security. They might get caught up with the banana in the tailpipe. They might run backwards in the damn cornfield. Well, how the fuck you gonna guide your son and you running backwards?
Mm-hmm. And B9, if you heard the one with the bronze feet, it seemed like he didn't even have an answer of his own. He complied with the others. Yeah, what they said.
Exactly. We have to stop falling for that shit, y'all. Everything that these clips are very important topics, because we know this stuff is going on in real life, but we have to stop it in real life. That's where this bullshit has to stop. This narrative has to stop in real life. because we're playing a very dangerous game with Black lives. The people that you claim you love the most are in jail over tennis shoes and French fries, or in a casket over French fries. These are the people that you claim you would have died for. But you risk their lives for the most frivolous things. Even if they live a good life, the quality of life that you're giving your children. We're having discussions of drag queen for a child. What's going on? So am I a good father if I just take my son to the strip club as a child?
Wow.
Oh, but if I change the sex, then it's okay.
But
a great point.
But ask a question, B9. So do you remember the days when a father would say, I want to be the first to put some hair on your chest, go on and have a drink? Or
that's right.
Look at this magazine and look at some boobies, you know. So you know what I'm talking about? Like that proud father-son moment.
Exactly.
Do you think they mean the same as I'd rather take them to the drag queen show to kind of give them that first father-son experience?
No.
sorry, his face was like,
no, nowhere in the world. That's definitely not, because like I said, let's put that into a heterosexual realm. You know, like you said, when did your father say at age 10, let's go grab some titties? You know, let's go play with a clit ring. You know, you've never had these conversations as a child. And if you do, you know that the right person hears you, you know that Child Protective Services will be called immediately. But all of a sudden, if we just switch the gender or switch, you know, what the goal is, then it's hunky dory, huh?
Now we get this.
With Michelle at 4:30. Stop.
Mom.
At 4:30.
Mom.
What?
Are you tricking tonight? Are you tricking tonight?
No, I'm not.
I want to watch a movie since you're not tricking it.
Goes to just what you were talking about, B9. That video goes exactly to what you were just talking about. Like, when did that start? Like, when did that become okay?
And not just okay, but when did it become okay to say, hey, this is the post that's going to go viral. This is the post that's going to get me some type of contract with somebody. This is the one that's going to move us to the big time. We on the Jefferson's fast track now, because my son knows that I'm a slut. And not just a slut. No, I'm a good slut. I'm the type of slut that takes nights off to spend with little Junior.
And that's what stood out to me, is that he just wants to watch a movie. Kids just want to be kids. Since you're not home tonight, can we watch Lion King? God.
But no, hold on. How come the kid ain't say, since you ain't home tonight, you know, let's go to the strip club? I know you know everybody there. Come on, Mom, let's go grab some titties.
And this is where I have to go back to.
Even the hoe knows not to go to the damn drag queen show.
Right. This is why I have to go back to Mr. and Mrs. the DaSaidS, the Harris Media Tribe. We have to go back and say, shame, shame, shame. But if we say it, you are being abusive. If you said to that young woman right now, oh, the fuck, or excuse me, sorry, Miss Sarah, what the hell are you doing? Why are you, oh, you hurt her feelings. Oh, you were being mean to her. Did you, sorry, I just got to grab what you said again, B9. The fact that she then went viral, there were certain things your family just didn't know. If you did those things, there were certain things your family just didn't know. So not only did your son call you out on it, you went on an international, this thing is global, and boom, put you and your family out there. They may not have seen the kid, but you just put your family out there.
For shame.
That makes sense.
I appreciate you guys coming through. Sis says shame. She says shame. God damn, I gotta ring the bell.
Exactly,
Where's
Doc.
the bell at? Bell.
Shame.
Young lady, watch a movie with him. Don't be hoeing. What you got, B9?
But see, the problem is, real quick, this is why I came on the way I came on at the beginning, letting the world know, if you have any smoke, come see me. Because what y'all think Mr. and Mrs. HeSaiD is doing is mean or this or that, they are the nicest people you will ever meet, because they are taking the time to verbalize what you would feel from me. I'm not here to tell you about shame. I'm here to actually shame you. That's when it gets cold. Words are not what's going to do it for you. It's the actions. And I'm the executor. I'm the one that's doing it in my day-to-day life. I may never meet any of you all face to face, but you better believe the people that are in B9's world, if they on some bullshit, they getting shamed. They're not being told about the definition of shame and the many forms of shame. No, I'm not nice enough to do that for you. So you better appreciate these good people that are taking time out of their life and their busy schedule to educate those that don't deserve to be educated. You are adults. You are grown. You are charged with raising the next generation. And just like those men, you don't know a damn thing about drag queens, but you're going to take the next generation to a drag queen show and expect to navigate through that bullshit positively. The blind leading the blind. So keep listening to shame, because you know if you walk outside that door, people are going to make you feel it. People ain't going to take the time to explain to you why you should have helped that old lady across the street. No, they going to remember what you did, and they going to see you real soon, and they going to make you feel shame. That bump that was on that young lady's head, whether it was a brick, water bottle, or whatever, that's her feeling shame. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not here to say that. But that's what feeling shame looks like. So you better be lucky you just hearing about it.
Appreciate that, B9. Appreciate you, man. Well said. I heard what
Let the
B9
church
said.
say
Yeah.
amen.
God damn it. Yeah. Won't B9 do it? B9 will
do it.
Only God. Appreciate y'all all for stopping in and chilling out with me. I got final thoughts, man, and we could get y'all out of here. Doc, we're going to start with you because you were my co-host today. I appreciate you taking the time out to come over with me. Looking forward to doing much more collaborations, getting a lot more of your wisdom, and welcoming you over here on this channel, man. So, you know, the door is always open. Whenever you're ready to kick it the rest of the way, feel free, my brother. But it's on you. I'm going to give you the solo screen. You do what you do.
Absolutely. Again, thank you for allowing me to share in this space with you on the panel, and to be with B9 and Sarah. And for those in the channel, thank you for allowing me to share in this space. Just a perspective on today's conversation about what women want. I think we were spot on with the characteristics of what they want. I had the opportunity in sharing in this space to talk about maybe where some of it is rooted. But please note, just because we hear where it's rooted from is not the crutch, is not the excuse, is not the evidence that you need to continue with the behavior. That just says where it possibly came from. Possibly came from, but then you're still responsible. Common sense. Now, I get it. When we think about someone like the movie or the TV show, we're talking about someone like Ghost, there are some benefits. There's some benefits in the mystery, like that turns some people on, like the mysterious person that he was, that can be very arousing. So if that's the type of stuff you like, boom, you have a ghost. The fact that he had the resources or access to resources, you have a ghost. The fact that you know that he will hold his down, fight for his, take out people if he has to in the name of protection for you and your family, ghost it is. But I have to go back because I heard B9 say it. What are you bringing to the table? I shouldn't have to bring anything. And if you go based on the rooted answer that I gave and say, well, there's some stuff in my childhood, but that means there's work for you to do, because the man coming next, he's not responsible. He's not going to resolve everything because he's 6'6", 6'6". He's not going to be able to resolve your inner turmoil. So that's work for you to do. And there's no shame if you like the power, the mystery, and all those type of things. His ability to be in the business meeting at night and rocking it at the club business meeting during the day, or rocking it at a club at night, awesome. If you like that flexibility, great. But once you get them, please know how to sustain the relationship. And please be ready to have earned that type of relationship. In the meantime, between time, be realistic. Find what you can find. Be thankful for what you have. Have gratitude. Have gratitude. Have gratitude. Have some standards. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. HeSaiD with the standards. And have a belief system of your own that even if you don't get a 6, 6, 6, and 6, that you will be able to get the best of what's going to be the best, because you are going to contribute to making it the best. Peace and blessings to you all.
Appreciate you, Doc. Stick around, don't go nowhere. I just wanted to get your final thoughts in first, man. I appreciate you coming through. And your perspective is always welcome. Sarah, it was a pleasure to see you up here today.
Thank
your final
you. It was
thoughts
a pleasure
about
being
anything you
here.
heard and anything you want to chime in on. The floor is yours, my sister.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for bringing me up here. And I want to thank Doc for sharing his insight. It's very influential and it's very helpful for others. I think it's important that we start, being realistic about the people we're looking for. We're overvaluing ourselves, and then we're expecting someone to bring in what we're not willing to do. So I just think we should look at ourselves, take a little self reflection, um, and be realistic about who you want in your life. Because when you get somebody that has that kind of money, they're going to be busy all the time. They're not going to have time for you. So then there's going to be infidelity. There's going to be all these things that come into the mix. And, so just remember what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. So I just want to thank you guys for allowing me in the space. And
Thank
that's
you.
all.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. Appreciate you. B Nizzle, floor is yours, my brother. So good to see you. Hope all is well. And the floor is yours.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, as you know, I'm going through a few struggles right now in my family life, but we will make it through. I'm still mourning the death of my mother, my family, but I'm blessed to still have my dad with me. So I'm enjoying the wisdom that I learned from him, and the time that I get to spend with him is I can't put a price on that. So that's the actual reason that you all haven't been seeing me around, because I'm enjoying real life with the man that matters the most to me, the opinion that matters the most to me. I will never, ever put any person's opinion above my dad's. If my dad tells me he's proud of me and everybody else tells me I'm a piece of shit, I'm going to continue in that same direction and not even think about going in reverse or looking backwards. So that's where I'm at right now, but I still am enjoying everything that you all are doing. You are doing the work that is necessary. It is paramount. But at the same time, I just want all of your listeners and whoever and all of your haters to know that you don't have to do this shit. This is not a requirement. You are not getting a W-2 or a 1099 for this. You are doing this because, like I said, you and your wife are two of the greatest people and have two of the purest hearts that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, and that grace the face of this earth and definitely grace these YouTube streets. And anybody that is drawn to you also has that goodness in them, because that is the beacon of light that you're putting out for these ships to come to port and come together every Saturday, every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Sunday. And they don't deserve all of that, Mr. He said. I'm gonna tell you point blank. I wish you was here at my house so I could tell you to your face. They don't deserve all that you all are giving them.
I hear you, bro.
And I know that you're doing it for a higher power and a greater reason. But if I'm still getting the recipient, the remnants and the leftovers of greatness, why can't I accept that and be thankful for it? Why I gotta shake the apple cart? Why we always got to have something going? Especially when people don't even want drama. They just want to be good people. They want to see the world be a better place. And that infuriates you? That makes your collar itch? That people are walking the way they talk it? And you get to be the beneficiary of it? That bothers you? Go to hell. Point blank period. And stay there.
They don't like it because they have to do a self-reflection because they feel like it's targeted at them. Just like when you're in church.
It's
when
even
they're
worse than
talking.
that. It's even worse than that, darling. They're mad because they know it's over for them. They know that there is no redemption. They know that there is no way back. And they know that they don't want a way back. They want to see the world burn. They want to they don't want their kids to do it, but they want you to take your children to the drag queen show. And so they'll say that they're doing it with their kids so that it motivates you to do it. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Everything that Mr. HeSaiD says and Mrs. HeSaiD says, that's how every parent is trying to raise their child. Guaranteed. Are they successful at it? Most of them are not. But I guarantee you that does not stop the effort. So that's the real problem, is that they wish they could have what they have. They wish that they could do what they do. And even if they do it, at the end of the day, they still don't feel good about themselves. They can't get that same good 8 hours of sleep Mr. HeSaiD gets. They tossing and turning. Got to call somebody. Got to get on a 3 a.m. live stream because they can't sleep. But don't mess it up for the next person. And if somebody's drawing you in, what you just met is misery. And misery loves company. That's why they can draw you in so well. That's why it feels so homely. Because misery has studied the playbook on what you like, not what you need, not what's going to get you ahead, what's going to give you accomplishments. So if it feels too good for you, you know you in the wrong place. When you feeling that shame, when you feeling that guilt, that means inside of you somewhere you know what's right. Because if you didn't feel that guilt, you are all bad. You are unsavable. So that little feeling, that little twinge inside of you that Mrs. C said causes every Sunday, let it burn. Because when she gets off that live, she has the time of her life. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. She has the time of her life. And she wouldn't trade with any of you sorry bitches. Sleep on that, hoes.
My brother, be nice.
Well.
Shout out to you, brother. We appreciate you. We love you. And the door is always open, man. This was fun. I just wanted to have a fun conversation. Like I said, I just compiled some information and came up with ghosts. That's what it equaled. So being able to have that duality, being able to operate in different spectrums, maybe not at his level, maybe not in his specific arenas, but being able to, you know, again, in the daytime, like Doc said, have a conversation in the boardroom, and in the nighttime, have a conversation in, you know, maybe another type of room, a cigar room or a pool room. But being able to be interchangeable and flexible and versatile is what I take from it. The rest of the conversation was just fun. And it was indeed a great time. I appreciate you guys coming in and chilling out with me. Sarah, it was such a pleasure having you up here. Sister, the door is always open for you, so feel free to come up. I'll make sure everybody behaves themselves.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you for all you guys do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you guys know how we get down over here, man. Do something good for somebody other than yourself, because that's when real character shines through. The missus will be here tomorrow for Shame. She has an amazing topic for tomorrow. I seen her working on her laptop, so she's cooking it up. Man, she's cooking it up. Tuesday, we'll be here for Conscious Parenting Tuesday. If you know any aspiring conscious parents or parents that just want to add more tools into their toolbox, tell them to check us out on Tuesday, because we have an amazing episode to continue on. Oh, what was it? Let's take a look. It was resilience. How to build resilience in our children. So we will finish that off on Tuesday and then continue on to another subject. So feel free to check us out. We think we are kind of like a hospital. Depending on what your need is, you can check in for triage, which is Conscious Parenting Tuesday, and just, you know, get a checkup, get a once over, maybe brush up on some skills, or maybe learn some new ones. Saturday is a little more cerebral, a little more specific. So if you need, you know, concentrated diagnosis, you need a referral to a specialized physician, that Saturday may be your day. And Sunday is kind of like emergency room, you know, kind of like where it goes down, kind of New Amsterdam-ish, you know, kind of Grey's Anatomy-ish, minus the sets. But she is the emergency room, and that's Shame Sunday. So, you know, depending on your need, we kind of run a hospital over here, and hopefully going to be adding some new additions, some new wings to the hospital. Nothing to speak on yet, but let's see what happens, man. And until then, check us out. Leave a comment, hit the like, subscribe, share button. That helps the channel the most. And you guys have an amazing weekend.
Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Peace to the gods and the earth.
Boys don't eat that.
Why?
Boys don't eat. I don't eat noodles. I'm a grown man.
Appreciate you, boss.
Likewise. Appreciate y'all.
B9, thank you for being that soldier and that trooper out there.
B9,
you the man, appreciate
B9. You. Jesus Christ. B9 for the win.
No.
Fucking the finest, sip the finest wine you see. My mind, they bounce blind inside you see. You ride the wave, the richest, quickest scheme. The pussy really nothing to abuse. But money always having value, damn. It's full of cash for others, empty, damn. A bitch with grips on hand is going man. They get the cash and try to feed the fam. The problem ain't the people with the guns. The problem people fear they need a gun. Protection with a weapon, just the pressure collection. At the church, they need the fun. Money really make the world go round. Money really make your girl